Hello. Oh my god. So, um, I hope this is working okay. Actually, I want the music back. I don't want to just listen to myself with no problems. Hi. Hello. Sorry. Yeah, I'll bring it back. So sorry, Kraz. Here you go. Is it, here we are. Yes, perfect. Amazing. My hair's a little fucked right now. Let's not talk about it. It's just because I hopped out of the shower. Today's been crazy, dude. There's been a lot going on. But we do have some new followers. Woven Wyvern, Callum C3275, Fives1, which is a little contradictory, a Segway, something, Kike, Wraith Feed, Next Gamer 5000, Haze the Elderly, which is, I cannot advocate for that on my channel, but welcome. Tatawin, McKellar11, Arcadian Moon, Rogue Mechanic, Tambrax, unrelated to Tampax, It's Aris, Throwaway Bungee 1, More Fields and Folly, Vector Victor 72, Ashiruni. God, you guys are really putting me through the fucking ringer here. AS Hong and Smoky Sapphire. Hi to all of you. We also have some new followers from like when I was back over at Big Bad Con. Mendari, Josh Tyke, and Revenant, all followed while I was over out in San Francisco for the weekend, which, holy shit, I have so much to tell you guys about that con. It was so much fun. That being said, I'm gonna get to that later, do the recap some of the time. In the meantime, in case you guys didn't see the announcement, the reason we're live right now is for basically D&D workshops is what I'm doing. I should have announced this before I left for Big Bad Con. I am so sorry. I just have been so fucking busy. Hi, Maddie. Hello. And then Yishui99. Thank you for following. Firefee says you were so cool on Total Park Chill stream. Thank you. I also watched that VOD like as soon as I got back and realized how fucking quiet I was. I should have just been like swallowing their mic. But anyway, yeah, so we're adding 3 new streams to the docket. In fact, my thing on TikTok is wrong, so I'll have to fuck with that here in a sec. Maybe I'll just do it. Here we go. Streaming every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Not Monday and Wednesday anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing 3 extra streams a week. These are on top of the ones where I'm streaming Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Girlies, both the Evil run on Mondays at 6 o'clock Pacific time, and then the Barbie-themed Baldur's Gate runs with Madaloon and Kiki do stuff here on Twitch, which are every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific time. The start times are all over the place. It's what happens when you're on the fucking West Coast and you're trying to decide how much of your real job you want to sacrifice while doing this shit. The Hungry Titan, thank you for following. What was I saying? Yeah, anyway, we're here. We're doing these now. And essentially the way it's going to work is every Tuesday is going to be dedicated to doing some shit related to, I don't know, whatever I want. Mostly D&D stuff is kind of be my focus. So answering your guys' questions, being, you know, being your coach. If you're curious about D&D, but you don't know where to start, or you have like some idea, but you don't know where to go with it. You're like, I need a monster. I just need general tips. How do I balance stuff? Things like that. I am here to help. Anyone can ask a question in chat. You don't have to be a subscriber. You do have to be a follower in order to chat though, just to keep things from getting like spammy with people who don't actually follow. It's just like a safety thing. And then beyond that, yeah, I am here to help for at least the next 2 hours, maybe longer if we get into some stuff. And then on other weeks, I might be expanding into some other topics. So we might be talking about, you know, me walking you through my personal world building, showing off things that I've done that you guys can steal, talking about how to plagiarize, because everyone plagiarizes in this community. Next Gamer 5000 also subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. Dude, my Prime subscriptions, they've been, and all of my giveaway ones have been running out like in the past 3 days. It's so upsetting to see all the ads that pop up now. Over on TikTok, Gina has popped into chat. Hi, Gina. Nicholas Martinez says, hello, I love your content. Thank you so much. And then Orion says, I adore your energy. Thank you. It is a little harder for me to pay attention to TikTok chat, so if you guys want to hop over to Twitch, it's just Diana of the Rose on Twitch. I'll be able to see your stuff a lot easier because my monitors are not well placed. If I could show you guys my screen right now, it'd be fucking horrible. Someone would cry. Alec the Bard says I need to fucking straighten up. I should really be more in focus. It looks like when I like keeping my hair in front of my shoulders because I'm really insecure about my shoulders, and so I always like, and whenever I wear tank tops, because I get so sweaty just like sitting here and talking and trying to be high energy, that like I don't know. So I put my hair in front of my shoulders to fix the shoulder thing, and I wear a tank top to fix the sweat thing, and then it just kind of looks like I'm mermaid style not wearing a shirt if I do this, and I don't know, that's clickbait if anything. Maddie Monster, here we are, 99, thank you for following. But yeah, everyone is, oh my gosh, there's so many people in TikTok now too. Someone says, let's get married, I'll support your gaming. I can support my own gaming, thank you. I'm gonna take some water before I fucking dehydrate. I barely drank any water over the past like 3 to 5 days. It's not great. Gina says, you're gonna have to teach me how to Twitch, TBH. Dude, it's so easy. The setup of like how everything looks takes a long ass time, but once you got it set up, you're like set for life. But yeah, I can absolutely, like literally anytime, I'll tell you what to get, how you can duplicate it. It's really not too bad, and I'm always happy to help, friend. Isaac Elfax says, hey, I just got the minor illusion cantrip. What's the most unique way you've seen to use it? Oh, okay. So the major limitation on minor, oh gosh, hi, we have followers. Sarkis116 and JCar1911, thank you for following. Oh, and Alex says, yeah, that's my bet. Yeah. Asshole. But minor illusion, like, I think the most unique way, and this comes out in Curse of Strahd, that people will use minor illusion is to kind of tell a story. So I think most people intend to use it, you know, for combat. A lot of people pick spells in D&D related to combat, or they think that like if it doesn't have combat value, they just won't choose it. Instead, I prefer to have my characters use minor illusion by being, you know, they're recounting something. You know, they're like, hey, we're searching for this guy. He looks like this. Like, have you seen him? It's a lot easier than, you know, just like it would be in real life, trying to tell someone what you're looking for as opposed to showing them. Also, using minor illusion, I think you can do it in someone's space. So you might be able to like minor illusion something just ridiculous, you know, like a teeny top hat on someone. I don't know, something fun like that. You don't have to worry about it using it strictly for like the combat value purpose, which is like causing a distraction for guards or something. Like, just have fun with it. Anything you were like, damn, I wish I could project a hologram of something onto something else. Like, it would be useful or it'd be funny. Try to think of situations like that. Your DM will love it. Your players will love it. Yeah, hope that helps. Minor illusion's a weird one because I very rarely play casters that use it. I prefer to take like Druidcraft, which I know is useless. Don't shit on me for it. I know. I like it. It's part of the theme. I don't usually do like wizardy type illusion type casters. Gina says hydration at BBC was not a success for me either. Yeah, they also kept running out of water towards the end of the night. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but at BBC they were, for those who aren't aware, I just got back from a con. It's a very small little con based around POC, TTRPG creators and influencers and, you know, enthusiasts down in San Francisco. It's maybe 2 or 3 days. And they like rush people. Holy shit, Venom, thank you so much for the gifted subs. Good to see you, buddy. I feel like you haven't been here in a while. It looks like both Pluto, Cinder, Pluto and Cinder both got one, which are awesome because those guys are actual friends. Major Stealth, Pain, who I've seen before, and Conbrew92 all got some. Thank you so much, Venom. That's really cool of you. What was I saying? Anyway, yeah, they would finish a panel or an event or whatever, and like the minute it hit the time it was supposed to end, people would start like picking up tablecloths, scooping shit off of tables, like waiting for the water things to empty and then cleaning them up, which is fine. That makes sense. Like, no one wants to have to guard that, but I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't bring a water bottle, so I was dehydrated as shit. Someone says, how far are you into Baldur's Gate 3 from Behind the Dish on TikTok? I am still in Act 1. So for those who are on TikTok, if you hop over to Twitch, I stream on Mondays at 6 o'clock Pacific. Well, now I start at like 4. 4 to 6 is going to be basically this, me answering your guys' questions about D&D, catching up on things, just chatting, you know, just vibing. And then at 6 o'clock onward, usually till like fucking 11, I have been playing a blind run of Baldur's Gate 3 as an evil Dark Urge, Oathbreaker Paladin type character, and I'm still in Act 1. I just entered the Goblin Camp, I think, and I'm trying to do literally everything else before I like finish that part of the game, and so I'm a completionist. I'm working on it. And then Venom is fucking Venom Give me like 2 seconds. Oh, he also says work's been crazy. Sorry, I missed all last week. That's okay. I didn't do a stream on Monday anyway because I was gone. Last week was chaotic anyways. It was mostly just the usual, but now we're boosting it a little bit. We got some more things coming. Hades FGC and Askivi, thank you for following. And KJ Nelson, welcome back. Good to see ya. All right. Let's see. Have you checked out the Grim Hollow stuff? I have not, but I've heard really good things about the way that they handle it, because they're the ones who do like crazy lycanthropy stuff, right? So people have taken those rules and integrated them into their Curse of Strahd campaigns, because every single time I run Curse of Strahd, someone is like, I want to be a vampire, or I want to be a lycanthrope. And rules is written in D&D, you can't do that. Like, you can, but if you do, I think you just straight up lose control of your character. The DM takes over your character, changes their alignment, and they just like run off into the wilderness to go do whatever vampire, wolfish, Twilight style shit that they want to do. And so it's gonna be, it's an offer of modified rules, and I need to look into it for sure. Mahalogram says, hey, Young Pirate Empire from TikTok. Hello, hi! For those of you who don't know, Young Pirate Empire does amazing like DIY cosplay and materials and things like that. They have a really cool channel. And they were one of the first people to gift me things via my P.O. box to confirm that it worked. So I fucking love that. Maddie says to hydrate, thank you. How do you run a session where the characters are traveling? It caught me off guard last session when my player characters were traveling for a week, and I didn't know what to say other than have them roleplay a little bit. Do you roll for unexpected situations? Do you prepare NPC encounters, etc.? So, it kind of depends on what level they are. If they're like really high level, so, you know, maybe between, I want to say you'd start thinking about it at 7, depending on the environment they're in. So if they're traveling through hostile territory or a war-torn country or environmentally difficult conditions, you're always going to want to roll for random encounters, for environmental effects, things like that. Make sure they're actually like resting at times that they should be, because there's a limit to like how much you can travel per day at a certain pace, and there's problems if you don't do that. So as long as you're paying attention to those rules. But once you get to like higher levels, you know, 7, 12, anything beyond 12 really, minor issues aren't going to bother them. So it doesn't matter if they run into like a randomly encountered pack of wolves on the road. If you're level anything, it's not going to be an issue. And so really, like, reasonably, you can sit your players down and be like, hey, you're traveling for a week, but reasonably, there's nothing that's going to hurt you on the way over there. So why don't we just hand wave that and then ask them each day if they want to have any roleplay activities, ask them if they want to like do anything. If they're traveling in a caravan where they have a vehicle, some of them might like have kind of a little bit of downtime, so you can talk to them about what they want to do. And then always make sure that they have time to roleplay during camp. So, you know, they take at least some time before they sit down. They still have to, like, you know, nighttime is always more dangerous. So still have them do shifts of watch and things like that. Yeah, sorry, I go on rambles about D&D, which is great because we've got 2 hours to fill. But that's kind of like where you want to go with that sort of thing. And really, it depends on the level. If they're low level, yeah, do like the normal thing. If they're high level, don't bother, you know, unless there's like an extremely slim chance of a dragon showing up or whatever, and you wanna roll for that. Okay, so Cash Cow redeemed a posture check. We're doing good so far. Let me twist this down a little bit so you can see more of me. Oh, Maddie, you did the potion D20. So for those of you guys who aren't familiar, we have a new thing as of last Wednesday on this stream where thanks to Dragon's Nest Delivery, which they're amazing. They're like one of the videos that I decided to do. It was like a free small business shout out. They do essentially like subscription boxes for D&D. Every month you as a DM can get like minis, a full module, maps that go with the module in both digital and physical format. So if you're digital or physical, it doesn't matter. A set of dice that is actually pretty fucking cool. It's not like just some random plastic dice that are really, you know, boring. I actually got 2 in mine, so maybe it's 2 by default. And then a bunch of snacks and stuff, stickers, a bunch of fun little things. It's essentially, if you want to play D&D and you're like, fuck, I kind of want to run a one-shot, or, you know, once a month, you can just have your one-shot delivered. Prep's done for you, you're set. Anyway, as part of the thank you for me doing that video, they sent me a potion dice bottle, which is also part of their offerings. And if I can open it this time, we'll be doing that. We'll be rolling that. Yes, okay. I'm getting better at this, you guys. Here we are. It's pretty cool. It comes in its own little special carrying case, which the case alone is pretty fucking sick. And we gotta get the glitter out of here. So this is what it looks like. I'm gonna fucking try and cover up the light a little bit. I should close that curtain. I'll close that in a sec. Anyway, here's the Dragon's Nest logo, and then the dice itself is floating around in here. It's glow in the dark. So we're gonna mix this up. And Maddie, whatever your next endeavor is, you rolled a six. Is that 16? You rolled a 16 for it. So good on ya. That's pretty solid. Gina hopped over to Twitch from TikTok. Thank you so much, Gina. It's great to have you. Tiny Toe Joe says, did you open the dice? I haven't read your last message. I don't know what dice you're talking about. If you sent me dice, I haven't checked my P.O. box in a little bit because I've been running around out of the state and whatnot. Cross says only 2 hours. 2 hours minimum. So if I get into the flow of things and I'm like vibing and I have like maybe a drink or two, we could go all night, which is great because I have to fulfill at least 20 hours of non-gaming content for a program I'm doing with Twitch to help bring essentially more of this type of stuff to you guys. More talking about D&D, more like enabling you all to get into it, even if you feel like you can't, answering your questions, things like that. Yeah, so that's the goal. And having the more hours, the merrier. Madeline says, I personally do the roll for encounter system and upscale it with their levels and change it with the location. Yeah, so regardless of what their level is, regardless of how long the travel is, you should be doing scaling with what the type of location is. The DMG actually has, and this is like the most, all my books are like right here. This is great. This is gonna be such a fun little stream. I have all my shit ready. They have a bunch of different tables based on the environment that you're in. So you don't actually have to do, and I flip to it like immediately. Fucking look at me. What was I saying? Yeah, so they have tables for different types of monsters that you can run into based on environment. And I think Mordenkainen Presents has the same one. But Maddie says, then at night I do paired watches, which creates great RP moments. Yeah, I love that. If you have enough people for paired watches, that's not a bad idea. Cross says the potion D20 is cursed. I got a 1. That was the first ever roll with the potion D20 too. That was not great, but I promise this does not reflect poorly on Diana of the Rose as a brand or Dragon's Nest Delivery. Sort of sponsored, not really. Hades FGC says, what are they called again? Yeah, that's Dragon's Nest Delivery. I can post their link too. They aren't paying me to say any of this, but let me do this. They also have this cool thing where they're really early on in their development, so they're like adding new stuff all the time. And if you sign up for like communications, and you can unsubscribe immediately afterwards, they give you like a little coupon code and stuff for your first thing. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. I gave them a little bit of feedback too, but I'll post that in chat. Toria says, I made the mistake of checking TikTok before bed and finding you live. Yeah. You're gonna be here for a while. Cash Cow says, oh yeah, you guys are just asking. So yeah, that's it. Dragon's Nest Delivery. Got James and his wife run it. Super cool guy, super cool people. Madeline says, I'm gonna reuse the roll to persuade myself to do work today. Please do. Tainto Joe says, dang, it was the white metal ones. White metal ones. I got white metal ones from someone else. I didn't open any though. I haven't done any unboxing since, specifically this dice potion actually, which I still have to post. Indifferent says, more enabling you. What an enabler. Yeah. Intersect 3.0 says, does D&D not count as gaming? It does. But so Twitch specifically is asking for like non-gaming, non-AP content, if that's what we're talking about. Not like video game screen sharing type things, but more tabletop gaming. And I think if I did like a virtual tabletop game, that also doesn't count. Like I would have to, it's basically talking about, you know, tabletop games, analog games, I think is how people say that. Buell wants me to hydrate. Thank you. Evan Haberlin says 20 hours a week is a lot. Oh, sorry, I meant 20 hours a month. Did I say 20 hours a week? Definitely not. I would have to quit my job, and I need my job real bad. Totally Jawsome says, how do I go from a D&D player to a DM? I understand the mechanics pretty well, but the creative storytelling is intimidating to me. Any advice? Honestly, that's a really there's a lot of advice. There's like multiple hours of advice I could give you. If you have a more specific question, I can help answer that. Like, I guess, like, are you talking about like the actual storytelling part of it where you're worried about, you know, trying to like convey what's in your head to your players? Or are you talking about like coming up with stories? Honestly, my best advice is stick around to this stream, because you will passively absorb so much info about how to be a good dungeon master that you will, I promise, I'm trying to make you guys feel confident about it. It's easy to say, just jump into it, but there are tools you can use and I'm here to give them to you. Crust says, so she's blaming me for the nat 1. Listen, I call it like I see it. Maddie has to head off. All right, well, love you. I will see you tomorrow. TTRPG Toria says Gina needs a sub too. Gina does need a sub because the ads are fucking brutal. Space Horse says, hello, I love the green vibes. Thank you. So when I first created this, it took me fucking forever. I was doing like a bunch of, I basically cobbled it together from a bunch of different packs that I found on Etsy, and it took me a fucking while. Random Aston says tabletop or table bottom. That was a good video. I loved that video, and I'm kind of upset that I didn't make it its own thing. Like, I made it part of a compilation because I needed to meet the 1 minute mark for monetization. And I like my compilation videos, and everyone keeps saying that they're their favorite. Old trauma redeems a posture check. Thank you. But yeah. What was I on about? Anyway, Evan says, got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Honestly, don't be afraid to hand wave travel too. I don't think if the players aren't enjoying it and you aren't enjoying it, you really don't have to do it. You can hand wave it, and it's going to be fine as long as you give them the opportunity to butt in and ask you something. Yeah, that's it. Oh my god, my stream elements thing says there's only 2 streams a week too. I gotta fix that. Space Horse says you made it. You're artsy. I didn't make it. I like bought the assets, and I think I recolored some of them and then like stacked random little shit on top of each other and things like that. TTRPG Toria says, okay, I'm trying to do better. Go to sleep, lovely. Have a great one. Yeah, if you guys don't follow Toria on TikTok already, TTRPG Toria, she's fucking amazing. She highlights a bunch of D&D creators like myself, like other creators, and it's a really good way to like kind of, I guess, get to know other people in this space, especially if you're like, man, I really wish I knew more about D&D, just every aspect of it. Absolutely, that's the way to go. Random Asin also just gifted to, oh, hey, it's Gina. So, Gina, you're a sub now. Congratulations. Buell says, how do I get my DM to let me fight God? Ask them which God is the most fightable, and then slowly persuade them from there. So in D&D, you're not supposed to fight a god. A level 20 character cannot kill a god. And I think, like, I don't know, it depends on the system you're using. God, I could go on forever about how I do my pantheons and how I do my god systems, but holy shit. Yeah, it's, you can make it happen for funsies. Fighting a god for a like level 20 insane overpowered one shot would be amazing. Nick Young says, yo, how's it going, guys? Hello, we just started, but yeah, it's good to be here. Let's see, I need to pay attention to TikTok more too. A couple of people over on TikTok are asking what we're doing. We are doing a kind of like D&D advice workshop. If you guys have any questions about playing D&D, there's a player or a dungeon master, please, for the love of God, ask them. I am so here to help. This is like my shit. But yeah. Let's see. Okay, Tiny Tojo says, how do you find people nowadays to play D&D in person? In person is hard. They say, normally I would recommend playing virtual. Like, it's a lot easier to get people in a virtual space to play D&D every week as opposed to a physical space. Like, the act of having to drive out somewhere, be at someone else's house past like 11 or whatever for a 4-hour session, you know, worrying about food and things like that. I find it's all just barriers to playing, so I try and tell people to be okay with virtual, but not everyone's okay with that. What you can do is, there's a couple ways to do it. I would say either check for local discords. I just found out that my town has one related to tabletop gaming, and then you can probably find people that way. You can try and get your friends to play it, just subtly tell them to listen to the Adventure Zone or Critical Role or something like that, and then slowly get them hooked, and then just play the long con, you know? Or what you can do is go to your friendly local game shop and look for Adventurers League games. They are not going to be full-length campaigns, but they might be ways that you can meet people to, like, at your table who run full-length campaigns, who might be looking for more people. It's like networking, but for nerds. So yeah, those would be like my top 3 places you can look. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of resources for in-person games, which is why I recommend Start Playing and other like virtual mediums. Cash Cow says, what would you suggest to run as a first-time DM? If you're like a first-time DM and you're okay with like a long campaign and kind of like, especially if your players are also new, Lost Mines of Phandelver is specifically designed as a starter adventure. It's one of the earliest things to come out. I think it's actually part of the D&D 5e starter kit, and so it's like really easy to walk through the rules that way. It teaches you combat in a very easy to understand manner, and I believe it starts at a really low level. So for people who are new, players who are new, who are starting off at a low level, getting them to like learn how the character sheet works and explore the character building process level by level from the beginning, that would be the best way to do it. However, like, I don't know, the story isn't as crazy. It's like a basic D&D adventure. You know, the first thing you run into is a pack of goblins on the road. If you're looking for something that's just a one-shot, if you're like, shit, I want to be a DM, but I don't know if my friends are gonna like it, do Wild Sheep Chase. It's really easy. It's got a really good mix of both role-playing and actual combat, and it's bite-sized. It's a genuine one-shot that you can run in maybe 4 hours or less, and it doesn't take too much prep at all. Everything is done for you, and it's available for free online. I think either on the DM's Guild, I think I found it on Reddit, to be fully honest. So yeah, Rob says, are you in Cali? No, I live in Oregon. God, yeah, I visited Cali this weekend. Would not live there. Not gonna lie. Everything's downhill from Oregon. Uphill? I need someone to tell me once and for fucking all, is it uphill or downhill? Do you say it's all uphill from here or it's all downhill from here? Because I feel like downhill implies that it'd be fun to go down a hill. And then uphill implies that it's hard, but also you'd be higher up and the elevation is good. I don't know. We got some new followers. The Crowned King, JFT 1994, Stellar Moose, TH Lingo, Old Trauma, oh I'm sorry buddy, Demon Ling 1, Top Ramen Killer, great name, The Unknown 1377, Space Horus, Wade 1313, Chronic Beats, Carson Clark 1, which I might have already said, Panda Lover 2401, and Rolling X River, thank you for following. And then Askivi has also subbed with Prime. It is that time of the year. It's a new month, it's a new Prime subscription time if you guys are interested. I think there's like a couple custom emotes, but that's about it. You don't have to be a subscriber in order to get the info. So just drop it in chat. If you're over on TikTok, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to pay attention to you guys at the same time, but it's on a fully separate monitor. So if you can hop over to Twitch, I highly recommend that. Garth813, thank you for following. I can already feel my voice getting fucking shot. Goodness. Okay. Everyone says downhill. Downhill is good. Okay, downhill is easier, uphill is harder, says Dracobane. Thank you, thank God. When I tell you, I 50-50 it every time for the past, like, however many years I've been alive, like 24 years, I've been just choosing one at random and hoping, and no one questions me, no one calls me on it. Harb742 says, finding your nearby game shop or comic shop and asking them if anyone has a D&D game is a good way to find players. Worked for me twice now. Yeah, the only thing I hate is like playing with strangers for more than just a one shot, you know? So just make sure that you're cool. Like if someone has a full length campaign, they're going to be hesitant to have some random people walk in, and you might be hesitant to play with some random people. So I would just be careful about that, which is again why I prefer virtual formats like Start Playing. Tiny Tojo says, I have too much ADD. I'd have to play on my phone in between turns for a virtual combat. Yeah, and that's a big problem is D&D gets kind of crunchy and combat takes a while. So, yeah, okay. Everyone else on TikTok is also saying it's all downhill from here. Oh wait, maybe? Fuck it, I'm gonna Google it. I don't trust you guys. Shady Crumb Cake says, good evening. Hello, good evening. Firefee108 says, I was DMing for my sister and her friends yesterday, and I was struggling to think of a way of believably bringing them together as a party. Do you have any tips for a newish DM? So I do struggle with that too. I say it depends on their background. So for instance, if someone is a thief, rogue, and their background is based around being part of a thieves guild, maybe the other player can be someone who's like a target, or they witness the theft going down. Or you can do the classic where you choose some event, you know, think of any event, something you have going on, a birthday party, a wedding, a funeral, a town hall gathering, someone's at the gallows about to get hung, anything, any event that people would be gathered for. Have your party members just happen to be there. Have them notice each other from across a room and have something happen to prompt them to talk to each other. It's kind of like broad advice, but once you start to think about it, just choose something and run with it. And that's also a really good way to lead into a campaign. So for instance, maybe they're both at a hiring event for a local guild hall, and then that gets them to join the Adventurers Guild, and then they get paired up to room together by the guild master, and that's how they meet. So something that people would be in the same room for. Just go with that, and then try and build on it from there. RMAon77 and Adrian __, thank you for following. Say with Dark Groom, Insanely Goated, JDN89, and Zaki Zox. Okay. Harp says, is there any calculation for adding loot or pricing out items? Like, is it party members times level times 10 gold? I believe loot is basically done on tables. So if you look at the DMG, there's a certain page that says what different like creatures. They're called loot tables if you want to look them up. They might also be available online, and that honestly is almost always easier than trying to sort through this fucking thing. But it gives you a bunch of tables where, depending on the CR of the monster, so the danger of the monster, that will determine what kind of stuff that they have on them. But you can also make it up. Like if you play like 3 or 4 different encounters where you're like they always have between 3 to 7 silver, then you can just improv it, or you can roll for it too. So you can be like, oh, out of 1 to 20 they have 11 silver or 11 gold on them. I would also recommend giving your party like adventurers tools. A lot of people just give out gold willy-nilly, but beyond that, you can also like look at, you know, maybe someone has like 1,000 ball bearings or something that gives them the opportunity to have more creativity in the future, with regards to like the stuff that they found and the stuff that they have on them. Because honestly, I forget to look at my inventory all the time. If I knew there was some cool stuff in there, I would look at it a lot more. The Lost Undead, thank you for following over on TikTok, or on Twitch. If you're on TikTok, go to Twitch. Sorry, it's gonna be a lot easier for me to say hi. Killbane says, what can make combat in D&D more fun? There's a lot of answers to that. I think one of the coolest ways to do it is to have environmental effects. So if you're sick of just like being on a road or like in a room fighting things, try and affect the terrain a little bit. So add like traps that the party is not aware exist on the road somewhere. So like if they step onto a certain area, you know, a net flies up and captures them and they have to spend a turn figuring out their way to get out of it, or they have to fire magic missile or whatever from inside the net. That makes it way more interesting. It kind of creates an opportunity for problem solving and teamwork. So like someone else has to get them out of the trap, for instance. Things like that. And then also, you know, environmental things like acid pools or fire or hazards are really good. Also having elevated terrain, so for instance, a ladder leaning up against the side of a hill that allows them to get onto a roof would be cool. But that can be a little bit limited depending on what format you're in. Like I hate using elevated style, like multi-level combat, vertical combat. I don't know if there's like a better term for it in virtual formats, because it gets a little bit tricky to measure things. But it depends on if you're capable of that, and if you are, I highly recommend it. Buell says, can you 1v1 gods if your character is strong enough? Yeah, and if your DM lets you. Tainwin says, please tell me this is recorded. I wasn't actually planning on recording it and posting the VOD. The VOD is going to be available on Twitch for 14 days, but beyond that, I think... I don't know. I don't know if I want to post it, though, because I'm going to be doing so many of these, it might just be really spammy on my YouTube account. Yeah, Tiny Toe Joe says to hydrate. Thank you. Neil Constant says, I finally caught a stream. My life is finally complete. Yeah, you caught the best one. Whisper Wildland says, your communication skills towards your community are top-notch and pleasant. Aw, thank you. Yeah, dude, I try and be a good content creator, whatever that means. But Nathan says, it's contextual, because going downhill is easy, but you can also fall downhill. Uphill means it could be difficult or getting out of a bad situation. This looks like there's more conversation about whether uphill or downhill is better. I don't know. Someone Google it, please, for the love of God. This is driving me crazy. Let's see. Oh, Hates Gina says, I gotta get onto my home game. God, I love the term home game. I love that we have like home games, shop games. Having that vocabulary is really cool. Wave says, just got here. How are we fielding questions? So priorities on Twitch. If you're over on TikTok, I'll try and look over every once in a while and pick one out from the crowd. But as far as Twitch goes, if I see it, I'm trying to keep up on chat and have it not get too far ahead of me, but I can already see that I'm way too far scrolled up here. But I don't know, I'm just answering them. Joe says to hydrate again. 17 Robots has been in the process of building my own world. What's your process for world building, and what would you consider as the bare minimum so I can just get started? Bare minimum, have at least 3 continents and have like some sort of knowledge of what their relationship is to each other. So that way you can fake having more history than there actually is. I do this all the time. I have like I have 12 countries in 3 or 4 different continents in my world. And so I made it so that they all have a dominant race and then other smaller races. I put down their higher, like the level, like how they're, what's it called? How they're governed, their governing style. So whether or not it's like a majocracy or a democracy, or if it's like a monarchy, I have that. And then I have vague ideas of how a couple of those are related to each other. So for instance, the dwarven country in my world fucking hates the neighboring elf country. And so that affects their relationships. And then you can, you know, occasionally toss tidbits of info in, but you really don't have to get too far into the history. Like, that is literally all I have for most of my continents, is like, at the very least, how they're governed, and at the very least, like, 1 or 2 different relationships they have with their neighboring countries. Nicholas Sears says, got any party recipes or idea for food for a party? Ooh, I would look it up maybe, or like take a look at fantasy food art and just snag that and be like, yeah, it tastes like, I don't know, paprika. Choose a fucking random spot. I don't know. That's an interesting idea though. I don't usually get that far into my descriptions. I really should. But I always say plagiarize. And so maybe you can even look at real life recipes. Like, go over and look at someone's pie recipe and then just switch out whatever's in there. So like a blueberry pie for some random made up fantasy thing. So like a good berry pie or whatever, you know, so it's possible for someone to make a super healing, you know, berry pie. Yeah, I would say plagiarize. Steal from normal ones, normal recipes. Lunar Geo, CM Bowers, Pancake Liquid, Pencil Man, Clivock, and Widowgast, Unfortunate Moose, The Lost Undead. Thank you so much for following. And Lunar Geo also just gifted 2 subs. Thank you so much. Daddy Tarzan says, what's poppin'? Not much, just here workshopping. JFT says, how do you feel about Roll20? I don't use it, but I know people who are like representatives of Roll20 that I might want to work with, that I've met at Big Bad Con. And so I haven't used it yet, but I want to explore it just for the sake of how much they're doing for the community. Like, it's a free resource, and I'm a slut for free resources. Our Mayon says, any Pathfinder players in here? How about Delta Green? Unfortunately, I don't have experience with either, so I can't help from my ends, but maybe someone else. Tiny Tojo says to hydrate again. Jacobane says, there's also the idea that for loot, have your characters give you a list of items that they want and see which ones you can give either before or after major story beats. Yeah, so in my campaigns, I have at least, especially for long-term ones, my characters need to give me some goal before they start the campaign. And then I build at least three, like, highly personal goals that will unfold during, like, personal quests, essentially, that will unfold during the course of the campaign. So if they have, like, you know, a question from their past, like one of my player, Endeavorance right now, is out, he plays a lunar sorcerer, and he got affected by some ritual that stole his voice and gave him sorcerer's powers when he was a kid. And so his personal goal is to figure out what happened and get his voice back. So already, that's 2 potential quests, and you can build out how exactly those work. And once those quests are completed, give them something that makes sense for their like personal story, for their class, for their aesthetic. People love when you play into their aesthetic, and you can go ham with it. They can tell you what they want, or you can surprise them. It's really up to you. I think a good DM would listen to them when they say, hey, I really want like this to complete the loadout for my character. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Beckmeister says, just finished my first map for a world I'm working on. Super excited. Oh, awesome. Harbs says, Baldur's Gate 3 is helping me with loot. Give them books and 50 extra torches. Yeah, dude. Jacobane says, an example, in a cave or temple that might be underground, make it so that a pillar will break in combat and cause the lake or river above ground to pour in and begin to flood the area. I wouldn't do that specifically, only because if they get trapped in a cave and they're wearing heavy armor or something, like, that's gonna fuck up the way that they swim, and that might kill them if they roll poorly. But that sort of thing is a really good idea. And if you know your players have something in their capability, like water breathing as a spell to counteract that helps a lot. Wave says, first question, my players have specifically asked for combat every session. How does one keep combat interesting week to week, not running out of ideas, etc.? That's hard. I don't run combat heavy campaigns specifically for that reason, because it gets boring. It's just, especially for players who are more martial classes and don't have a whole lot to do, that seems like a weird way to run a campaign. But if they're down for it, basically what I said before, vary the environment, vary the environmental effects, environmental hazards, change up the monsters so that it's not just like increasing hordes of kobolds, you know. If you don't already have it, the Monsters of the Multiverse supplement has a lot of really solid ideas for how to, it basically is like monsters that your characters will not have seen before because it's such a new book. So switching out a certain CR of monster for a certain, you know, that's in the monster manual for ones that are the same CR in PMM, I think is like the short term for this one. That can help a lot. Unfortunate Moose says, my D&D group also always falls through on our sessions, do you have a game that needs another player? Unfortunately, I do not have games with my party, my audience at the moment. I have to scroll down a little bit. Jeff Capel says, how are you today? So far, so good. Did you ever post any videos of weird item ideas? Said Nicholas Sears. Yeah, it's in my D&D playlist over on TikTok. I think there's maybe 2 or 3. Some of them are just funny. Some of them are weird. Some of them are fucking useless, but kind of like hilarious still. Harp says, Diana, the bestest. I'm gonna go into stealth mode because I always ask 2 and you've graciously answered both. So I'm gonna get out of the way. Oh, well, thank you so much for asking, dude. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Tiny Toe Joe says food incoming. Food incoming. Oh shit, what type of food? Joe, okay, I also want to point out, when and I'm going to make a video on this, when I was at Big Bad Con, myself, Hamasama-kun, D&D Imposter, Banana Chan, Cantrip, Candles, and Danny all played Dread together. If you haven't played Dread, it's like a really fast and easy tabletop game that you play with Jenga. And every time you try and do something, you have to pull out 1 or more blocks from the Jenga tower. The more difficult it is, the more blocks you pull out. And Devin, our lovely game master, fucking ambushed us with the knowledge that people could donate bits in the stream chat to make it harder for us to do anything. And Joe said, bet. And donated literal hundreds of dollars, which I think is like one of the most amounts of money that Total Party Chill has ever made on stream. They did give it back to us, by the way. They were super ethical about it. We fucking love Devin. If you guys don't follow the Total Party Chill channel here on Twitch already, you absolutely should. In fact, let me do this. Especially because their most recent VOD is of me playing Dread, and it was so much fun. I wanted to fly back down and do that specifically again. But yeah, fucking... Wait. Shout out... Total Party Chill. Here we go, so you can follow them if you guys want. Yeah, anyway, Joe was the fucking anti-hero for that one. Dracobane says, Heroes Feast is a D&D cookbook. It is, so someone gave it to me. I think you guys donated to help make that happen. It's on the way. I ordered it from like directly the publisher, so it's not like Amazon 2-day shipping or anything like that. And I also don't have the setup yet to film from my kitchen, but I'm working on it. I'm talking to some other creators, thinking about how I can go mobile. But eventually we might be cooking from that and judging the recipes a little bit, because I think that sounds fun. And also, I might need to kill time one of these days. Vaguely Asian subscribed, as did Lost Undead from the Lost Undead's gifted subs. We also have Corey Koo, Bishop Chaos 37, and Rin Mormir who followed. The Depth and Breadth of Seth says, Hi Diana, how are you this evening? I am doing good. I hope you're doing well as well. I saw you in Endeavorance' chat earlier. Bailey says to hydrate. And we also have Pencil Man, who popped in chat and says, what is your favorite monster to use for roleplay encounters? For roleplay encounters, honestly, I'm leaning towards any sort of humanoid, so that way they can actually like speak to the monster. But also, I think I saw one. Oh fuck, what was it? It was like a monster that I believe fed on fear or something like that, or did some sort of fucked up thing. Anyway, any sort of humanoid that can threaten the monster, the players while they're in combat, can tell them fucking horrifying things, because I'm a slut for horror campaigns. Basically anything that talks, which already kind of like narrows it down quite a bit, and says, you know, if they have detect thoughts, being able to like press into their mind and figure out what exactly like pushes the player's buttons and having them say that info out loud to throw them off their game is always fun. Bailey Monin says, what up, Diana? Much love from Australia. Hi, hello. What part of Australia? Good to have you. Lost Undead is paying for the gift that they got from Lunar Geo to the community and has gifted a tier 1 sub to Daddy Tarzan. Thank you so much. That's so cool of you. Oh, Bailey also wants me to straighten up. Thank you. Dude, I need to get a new fucking chair at some point. Jeff Capel says, can you talk a little more about horrific movement in combat? I'm planning to use it for my session and can use some more ideas. I have a couple ghouls and a shadow attacking the party. So with that, shadows are hard because they're kind of incorporeal. I would try and describe like the shadow moving quickly, or perhaps morphing into a different form while it moves and then turns back into like a humanoid form when it gets to wherever the end of its movement is. So it like disappears, turns into a wisp, like darts across the room, kind of like if you have your phone and you like reflect a light into someone's eye, like across a room or into someone's eye. That sort of thing, where it darts around really quickly, except it's shadow instead, and then gets to where it's going and then forms back into a human. It's kind of like a little jump scare if you describe it properly, so that's how I would do it. And then ghouls, make them like 28 days later zombies, and then describe like flesh slawing off of them as they move. You know, if they step into a certain location on the ground, make it so that the party members later see like bits of like gross sinew and flesh just kind of left behind on the ground where they stood. Holy shit, the Saints of Ree just tipped $25. Holy shit. So I do have like a little a bar. It's down here for TikTok. It's up here for Twitch. I shouldn't have done that. That shows how you can basically help out the stream. And it says specifically what the money goes for. I think it was Canadian people who suggested that I get a whiteboard for the stream to like basically write down all of my donation goals onto, and then yeah, and then I can like roll a d20 and kind of choose a new one from there. I need to fix that though, because now the next goal is going to be recouping the fucking insane amount of losses I had from Big Bad Con, because hanging out there over the weekend, we bought a lot of alcohol, we bought a lot of food, and it was way more expensive than I thought it'd be, and I also had to check my bag both times. So I might make a little bit more of a wide goal just for this first stream, so I don't have to keep paying attention to it, and then also to kind of like, because I'm also, I need to recoup that so I can prepare for for the next con, which is going to be PAX U, which I have an announcement video and a giveaway for coming up next week. The Pen Wizard said, how do you draw those goals out of players? Playing as a first-time DM with the first-time players can't quite get people to dictate what they want out of the campaign. That's hard. I wouldn't stress it with first-time players, to be fully honest, because they haven't quite gotten into the role play of things. I would say, hold on. And then we're gonna set that to, I think I spent like 300. It was actually more like, it was a lot more than that. But we're gonna call that good, save that, head to session data, reset the totals, this. And then goals. 0, save. Cool, that's good. I'll leave that in the background so I don't have to fuck with it again. Yeah, it's hard for first-time players. Until they get into the role-playing, until they play a couple sessions, they're not going to have goals. They're just going to want to learn the game and have fun. And they shouldn't be focused on their goals right away. They should be focused on how to roleplay their character effectively and playing true to the character. But if they develop a goal later on, that's fine. Maybe some of their enemies get away from a combat and all of a sudden their goal is, you know, a little baby goal of, we need to track that guy down before he brings reinforcements. Or before he becomes our next big enemy. Like, we need to find this guy. Things like that. And then you can build campaigns around that. 5 says, I want to run a creepy, scary campaign. Any tips? So many. I would go check TikTok for that. I got a couple videos on it. I would just be rehashing that info. Take a look at that, and then if you have more specific questions, come back. Stellar Moose says, thanks for your content. You make it so easy to understand and get into DD. Thank you. That is my goal. That warms my heart. I've got some things to say on that front. I really want to get people more into D&D, especially on the DMing side, because people will watch Critical Role and Dimension 20 and things like that, and they'll think that it's really intimidating to be a DM, and really, it's not that bad. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to be a voice actor. You don't have to be, like, in art school, things like that. I'm trying to, like, break it down to bite-sized pieces. 17 Robot says, how do you handle party wipes? Is it just game over? Do you let them reroll characters? I try and avoid them at all costs. A single death, if the party went into it realizing that the stakes are high and they didn't objectively like just make a bad decision, I don't know, it's hard. Like, if they're fucking throwing themselves at something that is unwinnable, like making objectively stupid opinions, like going after a big bad evil guy by themselves while the rest of the party is sleeping while they're wildly underleveled, if they die, they die. They do need to learn that lesson, kind of. They're not immortal, and the game shouldn't change around that. As far as like total party wipes, I try and make it so that at least the first time some sort of saving grace comes in. So for instance, some ally appears and gets them out of the situation, or maybe the BBG, if they're cruel enough, heals the cleric themselves and says, get back up, I'm not done with you yet, I'll be back. And then they all have to like figure out where to go from there. The cleric can't heal everyone, they have to choose who to save, those players carry on, the rest have to re-roll. That'd be an interesting dynamic. Harp says, Rime of the Frostmaiden is a good horror type campaign. I haven't checked it out yet. Corey Koo says, any tips on taking notes for DMs or players? I'm playing a wizard with 20 int in my current campaign. I've been struggling to keep useful notes. I have a notebook for that. It's from Sphinx Stationery. It has like little, basically just like bite-sized chunks of where you can you just fill it in, essentially. It's, you know, got sections for quests where it says like, okay, who's the quest giver? What is the quest? Where do we go for the quest? What's the reward? What's the deadline? Like, you just fill that info in and you put like maybe 1 or 2 bullet points, and usually that's enough to get people by. It is kind of expensive though, but they do have a digital version that's like half the price, I think less. Wave says, last question. I have a BBAG in mind, but I'm struggling to come up with ideas for interaction. do you have, oh, with PCs, do you have any ideas on how to build up a BBG without just spraying the character on the PCs towards the end of the campaign? Yeah, so make sure that their presence is felt throughout the entire campaign. Make sure that there are rumors about them. So NPCs, and these rumors can be true, they can be false. Make sure that NPCs who interact with the BBG or are somehow tied to it. So for instance, if you have like a thief king, make sure that the local news talks about them and gives descriptions of them and says like, you know, they did this last week, in the past they've done this and this and this. You know, maybe an NPC shop owner was like, yeah, I didn't see the guy, but I've heard stories about him. I'm glad I didn't see him. So you can do it by having them come in behind the scenes, and so your players have like some idea of who they are and how they act up until they meet them, and then they have a certain expectation, and that expectation could be right, it could be wrong, maybe the rumors were wrong. Or you can have it like where Curse with Strahd recommends it, where Strahd is supposed to be present the entire time. Like pretty much as soon as Strahd recognizes that the characters are in his domain, I run a her, I run a gender bend Strahd. As soon as they recognize that they're in his campaign, he starts talking to them. Like he will disguise himself and give them quests. He will go up, fight them, bring them to the edge of death, and then walk away and be like, all right, I'll be back later. So you can kind of play it one of two ways, or a happy medium, you know? Buell says you remembered my name. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hello, hi there says, I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are doing well too. Oh my gosh, okay. I think I'm getting caught up. Someone says, did you ever get that left AirPod replacement? KJ Nelson, I'm working on it. I think it's on the way. I haven't gotten any shipping info or anything though, so I should actually check on that. But I did order it. Nathan says, how do you change up your traveling encounters so they don't seem too repetitive? Traveling's always hard. It is a little bit boring. I would say change up the mode of travel. So airship, make sure they're not just walking everywhere. Maybe someone gives them horses to help complete a quest that they gave them. You know, or some animal that's not a horse and they have to take care of it along the way. Keep it alive, feed it, water it, things like that. Maybe they take a carriage or they have the opportunity to hire a carriage. They go by boat, they go by airship. Someone casts Misty Step on that, or not Misty Step. What's the one? Turn to Mist? Fucking whatever the big high level one that turns you into something that lets you travel really fucking fast is. That. Just change like the method of travel. It's the same way as if you and I were gonna go and like party on a Windwalk. That's the one. Thank you, Dracobane. Windwalk is interesting. Someone opens up a tree, like an archdruid gives them a quest and is like, I'll take you there, but the rest is on you. And just like fucking, you know, have them teleport them through a tree for them, if that makes sense. It's like if you and I were to go on a, you know, on a cruise as opposed to driving somewhere. It's new and it's interesting for us in real life, so it'd be new and interesting for the players to roleplay through, and sometimes for the characters. Maybe they've never been on a ship or airship before. How would they react? Are they afraid of water or air? Like, you know, or falling? That maybe that's an interaction that they could have that pushes them to roleplay more. Things like that. T2, the Langbang says, how do you feel about a statement that you can't be the best DM if you've never been a player before? I don't think anyone's the best DM. I mean, obviously there's like, I don't know. I'm almost never a player. I've been a player maybe twice, not including one-shots, and I've done maybe one shot ever. I don't play, but I'd say that makes me a better DM than a player because I put so much time into being behind the screen. So I'm a fucking stellar DM. If you ask me to go roleplay in someone's campaign though, I'm not confident, I can't do it. So I really don't think they have too much to do with each other beyond just the basic learning the rules. I think anyone can be a DM, whether or not you've played, whether or not you know all the rules even. Just getting into it and starting it and learning them as you go is helpful, and that is 100% valid, and in the end you might be a better DM than your people who were players, because it's like two entirely separate things, you know? Yaramir Ventura says, have them join caravans. You can add in random quick NPCs. I do like that. King Frog 35, Yaramir Ventura, T2 the Langbang, Kilgore Trout 467, and Armored Frog. Thank you for following. We also have Pirio R, Oracle 81, Bishop Chaos 37. Yeah, and I think I caught up there. I gotta talk to TikTok a little bit. Someone says, have a food stream. I think we're about to. Someone sent me food via Treat Stream, which is a fun little thing where you can send your favorite streamer a little snack. I don't know what it is, so this is gonna be a surprise. And I also have no idea when it's arriving because I haven't gotten delivery info or anything at all. But I guess we're gonna be eating soon. Spooky Butt says, where do I join? OMG, I need D&D. Like, if you want to join the stream, come over to Twitch. I can chat with you guys a little bit better there. Thomas Langley. Oh, that's the same question. Thanks, Thomas, for hopping over. Dungeon Daddy says hello. Hello. But yeah, awesome. All right. Let me scroll up a little bit. James Letson says, how do you make sure homebrewed items are not OP? I'm a new DM here, so any advice is appreciated. That's hard. I don't do homebrew stuff only because I don't want to go through the trouble of balancing it and things. But I would see how it compares to other items at the same rarity and also try and think through any potential loopholes. Usually the homebrew maker will do that for you, but like just be extra sure to make sure that it's not too crazy. And also just like get public opinion. If it's on DM's Guild or something or on Reddit, check the comments and be like, okay, have other people have problems with this? You can also send it over to one of my favorite YouTubers, Cinderblock Sally, who hosts homebrew review sessions all the fucking time. He actually like does those live, basically the same way I do, but for homebrew. And so it's always a really cool way to like, you can just talk to your favorite creators. We're surprisingly accessible. Jacobane says legendary portals is a great method too. Like there's a rumor that in the area is a portal to another plane or even things like river Styx. Yeah, the only thing is like that depends on the level you're at. If they're at the level where they can survive other planes of existence and things like that, absolutely, totally works. I also really love what Mercer did in one of the Critical Role campaigns where a town had a permanent portal in it. But after a while, it was deemed a liability because enemies could also get to the town and bypass the town's defenses through that portal. So maybe have that dynamic in there. Like, it's not 100% safe to do things like that. And how does that affect your campaign? Bad Panda says, I personally love putting in the BBG really early, and it's especially fun when my players get attached to them. The betrayal scenes are so much more fun. Yeah, the betrayal is wild. I hesitate to do it because my players would see right through it, I feel like, after how many people have done it publicly. But I want to do it one of these days, you know, when I least expect it. Tiny Joe says, it just said, thanks for buying the streamer food. Haha, I don't know. Oh, cool. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. I think I'm getting texts for it. But I'll keep an eye. Kilgore Trout says, have you DM'd any games in Spelljammer? Not yet. I hear it's okay, but I'm also not a big fan of space and ship travel, so I haven't done Spelljammer yet, unfortunately. I know some people do in their actual place though, so you might be able to keep an eye out for those. Says, I swear you have the platonic form of the girl giggle. I have no idea what the girl giggle is. Kilgore Trout says, Griffin's Saddlebag is a great place for homebrew items. Yeah, just make sure that you're thinking through it, because there are like a bunch of compendiums full of really cool homebrew items, and Griffin's Saddlebag is like one of my favorites that I would use if I had bought it, because it's like peer reviewed. People have played with those items so much that they're like okay with how it is. Most DMs support it, but at the same time some DMs are going to be like, they have to go through each item in the book or the supplement and make sure that it fits in with the campaign and it's not too OP. Like picking it apart can be kind of a chore. I just avoid it entirely by not doing homebrew. Retsu, hello Retsu, good to see you. You lurking. So Lyra says we use a lot of flavor text for homebrew things that we want. Yeah, I fucking love flavor text, dude. I steal a lot of flavor text ideas from Magic the Gathering cards, which will be a whole other stream at some point in the future, because I could go on forever about where I get inspo from, and Magic the Gathering is like my favorite place to get it. I look at the art, I look at the flavor text, I look at what the cards' names are. I get so many ideas for that. So we can go through that at some point. We can do a little workshop and build some things. Cyber Optics, Brock Boland, thank you for following. Let's see. What is your biggest tip for people that are just getting into D&D, says Maxie? I say listen to Critical Role or Dimension 20 or some other campaign that follows the rules as a podcast. If you watch the video one, it can be kind of a pain because they're extremely long episodes, and having to sit in one place and listen to them is a bitch. And Gen Z's attention span, my attention span, does not function that way anymore. So I recommend listening to them as a podcast while you're on the go, doing chores, doing other things at work, whatever. And that is really the fastest way to get a good idea of what the different spreads of the different classes are, as well as what each of their abilities are for the subclasses, how the mechanics of the game work. Because fucking I hate this thing. Hold on. This bitch, don't read it. Do not. I really think it's like the slowest way to learn. Until you actually start playing, this will not be helpful for you if you're trying to learn the campaign or learn the mechanics of the game until you're like ready to go, and then you use it as a reference as you go with a DM who knows what they're doing, so that way they can tell you what to look up. Until then, reading this ahead of time, you won't remember anything because it's what people call crunchy. I just learned that vocab word the other day. It's very rules heavy. The rules are not presented in the best manner, and so watching someone else play is always the best way to learn. So that's my best advice. Dungeon Daddy says, have you ran Call of the Netherdeep? I have not. I don't have it. The only ones I have, most of which I haven't run, are Curse of Strahd, which is the only one I've run. Tales from the Yawning Portal. I've done like 1 or 2 of those. Sunless Citadel I've started, and then I've done Price of Beauty as well, from Candlekeep Mysteries. I have Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and I started prepping it, but I never ran it. Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus I want to run, because it sounds really cool. And then someone just gave me this at Big Bad Con, Phandelver and Below, the Shattered Obelisk, which I actually hear is really cool. So I'm excited for this one. But yeah, that's a brand new little, I just punched myself with my fucking book. This is the least professional stream I'm ever going to do, you guys. I'm so sorry. But it was a cute little like thing that I got to take home from Big Bad Con. So that was fun. I got for free from Ajit George. Amazing human being. Love him to death. Doing the absolute most for creators like this. Okay, let's see. Read through this. Retsu says, yes, lurking while playing games. One to listen in and support. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that a ton. I actually have no idea how many people are watching too, because fucking OBS doesn't have stream counts. I can see that there are 26 people on TikTok, which by the way, if you're on TikTok and you want to hop over to Twitch, I'm way more prone to pay attention to the Twitch chat, and talk back and forth with those guys, but I can still try and answer your questions as I see them. In fact, Satan says, what do you think of joke magic items, and who can you add, and can you add them to your campaign? I love joke magic items. I have a whole video on joke magic items, which is so much fun. I think the only one I can think of off the top of my head, which I made a video on, I think was the first one in the video too, was something called the lycanthrope. And all of these ideas I've stolen. By the way, this is not an original idea of mine, but it's just a string, and it only turns into a full 50 foot length of rope on a full moon. And then outside of that, it's just string. But it's fun. It's functionally a nerfed piece of rope, but it's still cool. Okay, let's see. What is your personal online DM Mount Rushmore? I don't know what that means. Like my top 4 favorite DMs? You'll have to clarify. Wave841 says, truly my last question. What safety tools do you use prior to starting a campaign? Oh my gosh, yeah. So I just created a whole fucking Google form, which I can't show you guys because it's on my personal Gmail account for my players. But it basically asks a bunch of different questions, and it's kind of like a session 0 document because I don't like running in-person session 0s for my campaign, or like calls, because I only play virtual so far. And so it's just like, I don't know. It's not as useful as a session 0 for someone who, and it's only with experienced players. I would do it for a non-experienced player to help them walk through character creation and things like that and teach them the rules. But for experienced players, I give them a form to fill out, a Google form instead. And it asks them a couple different questions. You might want to write this down. If I find a way to share it easily, I will. But first thing it does is it asks them their name. And then it asks them what they have previously played. So which modules they have run before, or have been, or anything that they have had spoiled, because I try and avoid that. I ask them what length of campaign they want to try and play. If they want like a full-length campaign spanning multiple months, multiple levels, things like that. If they want like a short mini-series of like 1 to 3 sessions. If they want a short mini-series that has the potential to run into a long-form campaign. If they want to do just like one-shots for holidays, if they want to chain multiple short stories together, so things like doing Candlekeep Mysteries or Tales from the Yawning Portal, those can be chained as one-shots together. So people can choose whether or not they want to take their character from level 1 all the way to the end, or if they decide they want to switch classes or races, they can just drop out, drop back in with a different character and pick up right where everyone else left off without losing any of the story. So I ask people what their opinion is on that sort of thing. I have a massive checklist of every single campaign. I ask them what they would want to play. So if they are like, oh, I really want to play Curse of Strahd because I hear it's amazing, that's good for me to know. And then my safety and consent part of the forum goes into a couple different things. It has a list of different options. So things like lists of phobias that people have. And then they have to mark off whether or not that is acceptable, where they're totally okay with it. It can be sprung on them at any time. They don't care. They don't have to be, accommodated for. Predictable, which is one step below that. It's kind of like a yellow light, which says that they're okay with the subject matter as long as they're given warning ahead of time. So if that's the case, then I tell people, like, I give them a little message in Discord with a little warning sign, and I'm like, hey, by the way, this upcoming session might contain these themes. This is your warning. Let me know if you're uncomfortable with it, or let me know if you want it spoiled for you so you know what's coming. And then they can DM me. This might also mean that they're all right with the subject being present as long as it doesn't directly impact them. If it impacts someone else, they're okay with it. So for instance, if someone else has to go through a pit of spiders, they're fine with it. But if it affects them, then no. The third category is referential. It indicates that they would rather not see these things played out overtly in front of them, but other people can allude to it. So things like SA, I tend to play really mature campaigns. Things like murder, harm to animals, harm to children. They don't want to see it, but if someone talks about it as part of a quest hook or their backstory, or they come into like the aftermath of those events, that's okay for them. And then there's prohibitional, which is the fourth category, which is a full-on red light. That subject's a hard no for them, and they would prefer for it not to be present at all in any form, or if it's present in the game, they need to be told ahead of time so they can leave and not be present for that section. And then I will DM them and be like, hey, this is coming up, like you may want to step out for a sec. So those are like the major part of it. I asked them for phobia, so things like spiders, insects, rats, snakes, needles, mature themes, so things like genocide, childbirth, SA, self-harm, terrorism, claustrophobia. This is not me advertising. This is like the worst advertisement for my campaign. Things like that. Societal and cultural issues, which I never allow at my table, player to player. I may, or like even in between, PCs, I don't allow that under any circumstance. I only allow it as a theme as part of a campaign. So for instance, what Strahd did to the Pale Elves, or are they called Pale Elves? Dark Elves? What are they? I can't remember because I changed it to something else. Whatever the elves are, where he like wiped out every single female of the species to end the race and watch them die a slow death. So that's obviously a little problematic. And so some people aren't going to be okay with those sorts of themes. And so I make sure that that's, like something that they can tell me about. Every single one of these categories, by the way, has a section for additional notes. So if people have a phobia that I haven't listed, that is on there. There's a place for them to mention that. And then I also have one section at the end for sex and romance. So sexual themes in general, presence of brothels, romance from PC to PC, and romance from PC to NPC. I never do it where NPCs will hit on PCs. That's not a thing that I do. Just because that's where it would get weird between me and my friends. But if they initiate things NPC to PC, that's different. Like I'm okay with that. They just have to let me know. And then sex scenes are always fade to black in my campaigns. I also make it so that my players know that they can DM me at any time and be like, hey, I'm not cool with this. Which is also why, like, what do they call it? Privacy. I don't like in-person games for that reason, because if you see someone run up and whisper to the DM that they're not comfortable with something, like that's another barrier to them, feeling uncomfortable and getting the situation changed. So, yeah, that's like a quick summary of some of the safety tools. Other people use different ones, things like that. Turtoid, thank you for following. Kilgore Trout says, highly recommend Tube of Annihilation, written partially by Pendleton Ward. I want to run it. I don't have the book though. Dracobane says, oh, the stream goal, is that meant to be reset? Yeah, I reset it after we achieved the goal. However, the date, I just realized, is wrong. So the goal end date is going to be, what day is it? The 3rd. It ended 18 hours ago. Fuck no. Okay, it's going to be the 4th then. God. There we go. Seth says, oh, my brain 1000% works better having read the book. I love a good chart. There's 80 in Twitch. Oh my god. Hi guys. Hello. Jesus. Mario Smash says, what do you mean? Cute background, angel lighting, and endless knowledge. Vert Pro. Yeah, the lighting is gonna get real bad real fast. I ordered the lights. They just haven't arrived yet, or I haven't had the chance to run out and check a package. The parcel locker that I need for it. Retsu says, don't worry too much about it. You have really good engagement. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of what I go for. Dracobane says, Wand of Smiles is such a great common item. Yeah, I love that one. Absolutely. I also fucking love, on the subject of that, the homebrew rule where your characters get a free common magic item to start their campaign with. I will fucking die by that rule. It's so much better than a random trinket. And as long as it doesn't have combat value, so like I usually go for no orbs of shielding, no weapons that you can actually like do extra damage with, no sneak attack enabling thing. I don't think those are options for common items, but as long as it doesn't directly affect combat and it's just flavor, it can enhance their backstory. They can talk about why they have it. Is it their most prized possession? And it's just fun for role-playing opportunities. I want to make another video about that, dude. I think that'll be one of my next videos because I think that's a rule that everyone should have. Do you use physical props for D&D? I personally love them, but look for your opinion. Yeah, so sometimes. So I only play virtual, so it's a little hard for me, but I do have these fucking awesome decks that you guys gave me. A Taroka deck, or Taraka, I don't know how it is, and a deck of many things, which are, let me show you these. Super fucking cool. And I love the artwork on them, and now that I actually have the Taroka deck, that will help me to make the polls for Curse of Strahd, because you have to choose randomly from the, oh fuck, what is it called? Like, basically that determines what happens in the campaign. And so you have to do it randomly, and you can use a normal deck of cards, but that's no fun. Then you have to look it up. Mexican Viking, thank you for following. Tiny Toe Joe says, idea for the string, cook food and have them eat it and watch them expand. That would be game breaking. I would not allow that. So like, here's the void. I'm so glad that my fucking camera isn't reversed. Balance. Like, it's just cool. I love the aesthetic. Ruin. I also like that it doesn't have the description. Like, I still have to look it up. Or if I give it to a player for anything that I ever run in person, I can be like, here you go. And then they have the dread of watching me tell them what happens, as opposed to them reading ahead themselves and spoiling it. So I can just describe it, and they still get surprised. So that's why I like this one in particular. It's by Game Master's Merchant. I think it just got it on Amazon, or the gifter got it for me. Taito Joe says, oh, sorry, Jeff Capel says, extra points if he manages to actually complete his goal before the party can stop him. Then I don't know what's going on in that one. Zalara says, I've been playing D&D for years and I've never had a group or DM make it to level 20. It's so sad. Very few people do. I can't even think of, I don't think there's a campaign that goes to level 20 in the published modules. And after level like 12, I think it is, commonly, people just, it's so hard to balance. Combat gets insane. Like, it's good for one shots, but I wouldn't ever do it for a, like an actual campaign, not without severe preparation and then possibly more tools provided by D&D and WotC themselves. You know, a published module that runs to 20. I think, does Dungeon of the Mad Mage do that? It might. I can't remember. Moon Elves, yes, that might be the one. Haven't ran a module in 9 years, says Retsu. I will do one day. I just find it easier, especially for people who are looking to start out. That way much better, so much better. Wave says, thank you for sharing your experiences and advice, Diana. I love, much love and appreciation. Thank you for asking. These are good questions, and I feel like everyone could benefit from them. Any more questions from TikTok? Not so much. My players bought our Discord a year's worth of Nitro as a thank you gift for me. Any suggestions for soundboard clips? Yeah, any TikTok sound that gets popular, like as a sound effect, absolutely add that. I think I'm in a Discord server that has like the Taco Bell gonging bell sound. Like, that's pretty funny sometimes. Like the fucking, oh god, reality TV sounds that people use to like emphasize things. I think that's hilarious. Just don't do any sound like jump scares. That's just shitty. Lines and veils are a really solid, like functionally like a safety tool. I just don't think it goes far enough. I prefer to have for intense campaigns like the ones I run, having like hard stops and soft stops is great. I would do that for one shots and for other TTRPGs, but for things where the subject matter can get really intense and really complicated in D&D, I like knowing exactly where on the spectrum people are at and giving them a chance to like ask me ahead of time and be like, Diana, I saw this was on the subject warning for this session. Like, what is it? And then they can decide if they want to handle it, if they want to deal with it or not. I feel like it gives the players more agency and more room to determine what they are and aren't comfortable with. Dusk Elves. Got it. That's the one. Thank you, Sin. Peter Third says, hey again. Hello. And we also have Ibriz0 and Nick is Nixed, who just followed over on Twitch. Cash Cow says, I'm just going to lurk for a bit. Sounds good. Zalyra says, my DM gave me an endless water flask. See, things like that are just fun. They're not like game breaking in most circumstances, you know. Retsu says, glad you're sharing this. It's just general respect for each other's personal space. It is. Syntactical says, I like giving my players a first level free feat as it sets them apart. I only do that in campaigns where I only have 3 players and it's a 4-player campaign, just to make the balancing a little bit more easy. But yeah, they love that. And some people will do it for the normal campaigns too. And I don't shit on that. Honestly, I would consider it. Dracobane says, magical lanterns are my favorite things, or items that can easily cast light, like the floating orb one that can also cast daylight once per day. Yeah, like the floating orbs are so cute. It's just a cute little thing. Ibris says, I know nothing about D&D, but good stream for real. Dude, you should swing by on Mondays and Wednesdays, because then we play Baldur's Gate, and that's like the quickest way to learn about D&D and also just have fun. We just play video games together. It's fun. Pluto, hi! Hello, thanks for popping in. Someone gifted you a sub today. 2Piece, thank you for following. And then Fred Q Fucks says there are plenty of modules in 3.5 that went to level 20. So that's another thing you can do, is you can just convert yourself. I think that's... It's hard. I leave it to other people to do. But people will take like Fair Barovia, for instance, like an old 2E or 3.5E module that was an expansion to Barovia, to Curse of Strahd, and they converted that expansion content into 5E. And so that way you have a beefier Curse of Strahd session, which is a lot of fun. DKing0719 and Noggin2, thank you for following over on Twitch. Dracobane says the old Mysterio modules had a bunch of higher level stuff back when it was TOR. Gotcha. Retsu says it's all been homebrew campaigns. You can't look up or spoil homebrew campaigns, but it's exhausting as DM. It is a lot more work. That is the problem. Wave has to go. All right, well, have a good night. Seth says, I am easily a decade older than you. How are you so much wiser? I don't know. Just fuck, I'm just here and vibing. I have a high wisdom score. I have a shit intelligence. I am not known for my intelligence, you guys. Holy shit. Syntactical says, my friend has the forbidden drum line whenever he enters a voice chat. It's hilarious. Wait, that's actually so good. I kind of want that. Huntercam says, oh, thank you for the posture check, Nick. Did you get a Discord set up? I have not. It would be a lot of work to moderate. I don't trust other people yet to moderate it for me. And so, I don't know. I do a lot in Discord as is. If I were to ever get into bigger things like full-time content creation or, you know, DMing for people in the community through Start Playing, then I would be more serious about a Discord. But for right now, I don't have enough motivation to. Just yet. I just don't see like what the benefit would be. That wouldn't cost me absurd amounts of time out of my day that I don't have, that I can afford to give. So Lyra says, 2 house rules we play with. If you choose standard array, you get a feat to start, and if you roll 1 on a hit point level up, you get 1 more free roll. Yeah, this is a really good point, because on the hit point, I make it so that the absolute minimum that you can roll on your hit point rolls is your constitution modifier, minimum of 1. So if you have a +3 to constitution, and you roll a d6 for your hit points every level, you cannot roll below a 3. Like, if you get below a 3, you re-roll. And I just think that's a better way for people to incentivize Constitution, because not a lot of people max out Constitution. It's just not. I feel like it just provides an extra benefit that doesn't come into play so much that it ruins the game, but just it's a little bit better for, you know, a stat that doesn't get used a whole ton outside of HP. Noggin says, been watching a few of your TikToks, so came from there. Ran my first ever session 2 weeks ago, so listening for new DM things. Hey, congrats! I love that. Yeah, this is just a super free-form stream. We're just talking, answering questions, giving you guys advice as best I can. In the future, we'll do some world building together. I will do some D&D DIY to help give you guys tools to make things that you can use in D&D on your own. Dracobane says, the things about Magic Lantern is that as the party grows reliant on them, when you introduce environments that make lights less effective, it's an easy way to make the situation spookier. That is a cool concept. So taking whatever they use and usually rely on as a trait. So for instance, if your party members usually cast Pass Without Trace on each other, and that works a lot for them, let that work for them, let them grow reliant on it, and then find some way to take it away from them, make it useless, and watch them struggle. It also makes combat and, you know, role-play encounters way more interesting. 5 says, she's got +3 charisma, solid stream. Thank you. So that's for real. Thanks, guys. You guys are so sweet. DKM71 says a subject warning per session is a good idea. It is. And not everyone has the patience for that, but I feel like better safe than sorry on that sort of thing. Oh my gosh. Little Brother True says, I really want to do a Fantasy World War I inspired campaign / one-shot, but I want to be respectful. I would see if existing other TTRPGs cover it already and see how they handle the subject matter, and then kind of follow what they do. Because I guarantee that if there are games based around wars and tragic events and things like that, that they are sensitive to the subject and they have some sort of statement about that sort of thing on their website. You don't even have to buy the game. Just look at their website and forums and things like that and see how they handle it, and then try and kind of implement that into your worlds and to your story if you can. That is extremely difficult. If you need like a cultural consultant, maybe reach out to one of your favorite D&D players on TikTok. Not me, because I'm Latina and I can't talk about World War I because I don't know shit about it. But, you know, we're surprisingly receptive and surprisingly open to help you out. So please let us know. Better safe than sorry on all fronts. Pizza Man says, I would love the Discord community, but that's also where mods for a Discord can come into play. But I get it, Discord's can be a lot. Yeah, I just don't have anyone I trust to be a mod yet. So having to moderate myself would be a bitch and a half, and so I don't know. I do also have some presents that people gave me. Matt Miggs sent a heart, Clayton Snyder sent 1 rose, CMB sent 3 roses, Ricardo Perez sent 1 rose, and Wallace 1250 sent a tiny diny, which is so cute. Little Brother True says, I started a world building club at my university. It's been really difficult to collaborate on it. Oh. Yeah, so I really wish more universities and high schools and even elementary schools got into this sort of thing and supported that. I don't know. It's not easy. Matt says, sup. Hello. Tiny Toe Joe says, where's this food at? I did get a text. It says deliver between 6:36 and 6:46. we're a little bit of ways from that. Also, the place that you ordered from, I found out it's Burger King. Let me tell you, I fucking love Burger King, dude. I'm a Burger King slut. I grew up on it. I didn't have McDonald's growing up, and I know that McDonald's fries are better, but Burger King still has onion rings, and I don't know many places that still do that. I love it. It's what I grew up on. Problem is, it's on the other side of town for me, so might be a hot sack. The food service in my town also sucks. There's a Bend has a weird dynamic. I'm gonna derail for a second. Welcome to the fast food. Dinah complains about fast food and Bend stream. Welcome everyone. So my town, Bend, Oregon, extremely expensive cost of living. Housing is insane. Rent is absurd, and so people don't really like if they work here, if they live and work here. They are either high schoolers who live with their parents. So those are the ones who can afford to work like fast food service, you know, like low income $15 minimum wage jobs or $15 wage jobs, which is low for where I live. That you cannot live on that. So the only people who can are people who are in high school. You know, so it's a lot of high schoolers, and you know, a lot of places close after like 9 o'clock or something like that because of that, because it's against child labor laws. Other than that, the only people who work in this town are people who are in the tourism industry, or who work remote. And so their income comes from somewhere else, usually in tech or biotech like I do, things like that, or old retirees. It's a lot of young bachelors, like people who are in college, unless they like leave for college. And then unless they get a job that allows them to work remote from Bend, they don't come back. So the only people who live here are young bachelors my age who are in remote jobs, or like retirees, or people who are kids, you know. So it's a weird spread. We don't have people to fill that role. And so the service, food service in this town is not fantastic. So yeah, I don't know. Random Aston says, didn't Tiny Toad get you food? Yes, I think we're still waiting on it. I think they'll text me when it arrives. I'm keeping my phone on me this time. I learned. Pizza Man says, I love the rule for Twitch chat. Yeah, so it says don't be a dick. And I think it's a catch-all. It works for anything. I kick out whoever I want. I decide what that means. It's fucking obvious. Don't be a dick. Come on. Noggin says, this is cool. I'm using the Fandelver Below Shattered Obelisk campaign. Yeah, I just got that one as a gift. From the lovely Ajit George. Fucking amazing human being. I can't wait to read through it. He offered the like alternative cover too, but if I'm being fully honest, I don't like the alternative covers of books because they don't match the other books on my campaigns. I'd rather have the homogeneity of getting like all the books to look the same, than having like a fancy cover. I did meet Matt Mercer this weekend, dude. I should have had him sign it. I didn't even think about that. Fuck. Retsu says, I don't really like rolling HP. Con is still really good because of the extra +1 to 4 HP per level. It adds up immensely. Rolling HP die almost always ends up with everyone being really, really weak. Yeah, so that's why that minimum is there based on Constitution. I think it kind of alleviates that a little bit, and makes some people want to roll for a change of pace. Pizza Man says, I would love to start the Minecraft D&D discussion. I found one of them. We need to get that. No idea. Minecraft D&D discussion. Like how they made a Minecraft thing related to D&D. I haven't looked at it at all. Minecraft is, oh my god, that's how I got my start as a gamer. I haven't played in years. Nick says, first time D&D DM who has previously run other TTRPGs, like Powered by the Apocalypse and BITD, whatever that is. What are your thoughts on going full homebrew or moving into another module after wrapping Lost Mines of Fandelver? I would, it depends on what level it ends at. Shit, I don't have Lost Mines, so I can't look it up. If your characters are okay, like check with your players, ask them what they want to do. It shouldn't be up to you really. It should be what they want to play. If they want to continue with their present characters, then yeah, you can branch off of that into something else. I used to have it written down, like which ones branched off into which things. But if they want to start over, do a different level of campaign, play different people, play different classes, just try and accommodate that. It's up to them, because if they don't enjoy it, then you're just wasting your time. Nick says, I have comfort in homebrew, but the rules-heavy nature of D&D has me anxious. Yeah, if you're starting off in D&D, I wouldn't do homebrew. I would just modify a module. I have a video on how to do that on the D&D playlist in my TikTok. I think it's towards the top of my methods for how you can modify a homebrew or a published campaign to make it feel homebrew. Zelira says, more HP for our group gives us the easier choices to put ourselves in more danger instead of just avoiding it. Yeah, that could be fun. Just make sure they avoid some encounters are not meant to be beat, and they should know that, just to keep them on their toes. I wouldn't do that a lot, but like maybe once a campaign, twice a campaign, they've run into something that they physically cannot kill. And they get plenty of warning that they cannot kill it. Pwn Man Payne says they still have onion rings. I fucking hope so. Dude, if they ever get rid of onion rings, I'm never going back. Frostborn says DQ does onion rings. Oh, I don't know if we have one. Pizza Man says Sonic has great onion rings. Let me fucking tell you a thing or two about Sonic. We're back into fast food, because holy shit, the Sonic in my town is the worst fast food I've ever had. Mind you, I went there during COVID, and so maybe it was like just the fact that it wasn't great service. They couldn't do like the drive-in stuff. They couldn't have people come out to your car or whatever, but it took forever to get the food. The food was horrible. And it just wasn't worth the drive because it was so far too. I don't know. Thoughts on Burger King mozzarella sticks? Oh, I don't know if I'd trust those. I don't know why, but I haven't tried them. Trackabane says the support lender. I already agree. Yeah. 808 B-Ron says D&D food blog. That's the goal. That's the content creation goal. It's not. Please don't make me do that. Poneman Pan says, I feel you about the cost of living. Absolutely. We also have a couple new followers. King Callus, Rain 12 PM, Chuchin92, DKM71. Thank you for following. Poneman Payne says, I didn't see who it was, but thank you for gifting me a sub. Fuck. I think it was Venom, if I remember correctly. Sin says, get a degree, they said. Companies will pay you more, they said. Now I'm in debt and need a master's for entry-level jobs. Yeah, something's gotta give. It's insane. I hate it for you guys. Tadu Calda says, hi from Brazil. You prefer real world games or Discord? Absolutely Discord. So I use what's called Tailspire, and it's like a it's like a virtual tabletop that uses 3D assets, so you can build maps and stuff, and other people can build them, post them online, and it's as simple as copy and paste to put them in your world. So you can cobble things together. I have my entire Curse of Strahd campaign on there, and it is kind of expensive. So I share my screen instead of having people like buy it themselves and then join my game. That's the only downside, but it's fun. I feel like it gives you a lot more to work with. You don't have to buy physical like minis and things like that. You don't have to work with a 2D battle map. And then you can also send your players like sounds. I just send them YouTube links for the vibe that we're going with for each day. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Pizza Man says the cost of living is so bad in Anchorage that things are so expensive. I can imagine trying to get stuff up there would be the worst. Goodness. Dracobane says, I didn't know it was CR year at RCCC. Until way too late. I have no idea what that is. Taito Joe says, how was Matt? All the rumors are true. He's the nicest fucking human being. People saying you met Mercer. Yes, I did. So, yes. Should I tell this story? I'll tell you guys later. Dracobane says next year they're going to ECCC. I don't know what any of this is. Oh my god, there's a lot of talking. Let's see. Pizza Man says, yes, they made a Minecraft D&D session and it's crazy. I can't wait to get a group for it. Yeah, that sounds fun. Pizza Man says, you have a great time. I need to finish work, sadly. Oh, okay, got it. Well, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out. Dracobane says, Sonic is severely overrated. I think it's overrated everywhere. I'm going to skip down a little bit because everyone's just talking about Sonic. Noggin says, I had a player that did die in the first session. He had a -2 to con, so he only had 6 HP total as a rogue. Is it a thing that people use con as a dump stat? Because it seemed very out there to me. They shouldn't? Did he roll for... Did they roll for hit points? Or did they like just... What? No, that would have been level 1. Weird. I don't recommend that for anyone. I don't know. Yeah, that's a really dangerous game to play, especially as a rogue. I think maybe it was just poor character creation. Like, optimizing is one thing, and avoiding optimization and min-maxing is one thing, but also knowing not to do dumb stuff like that is also good. Venom. Yes, that was the person who gave the gifted sub. Thank you again, Venom. Pizza Man says there's a D&D stream map builder that I want to try. Ooh, that sounds cool. I've never... That'd be nice. Bretsu says, I can see that. The few times I've done HP rolling, at least 1 to 2 people always die just because of bad HP rolls. Yeah, so it's up to them. It is a risk. And that's why the con minimum is best, I think. It's like a work in progress, though. I only heard one person, like one TikTok comment one time say it, and then I ran with it and used it in all my campaigns from now on. So I'll do a separate session here talking through, maybe like tomorrow, before Baldur's Girlies, we can do that, where we just talk about all the homebrew rules that I use, because I got a fuck ton of them. And I have a whole document explaining them. So that's the other part of what I do for session 0 is I give people the Google form, and then I give them a document stating what's allowed content, what's not allowed content, and then what homebrew rules I implement. And then if they have questions, or if they're like, I don't know if I want to do that homebrew rule, they can come up to me and we can nix it. RCCC is Rose City Comic Con. ECCC is Emerald City Comic Con. Got it. So I got invited to go to Rose City. I just couldn't. It was a weird weekend. I didn't want to. It's 3 hours of driving. They have an agreement where they alternate guests. Oh. Retsu says the math just leads to sad times that I've seen. That's fair. But yeah, don't do con as a dump stat. Legacy says, have you ever played Pathfinder? I have not. I keep getting asked that. I think if I go to another con where I have a chance to learn Pathfinder 2e, I will. I really want to start learning more game systems, you guys, especially because I keep getting asked about those, and I feel like the GMing skills that I teach here would be useful for those. And so I'm curious about it. But no one I know plays Pathfinder regularly. And so it's Tiny Toe Joe.
I'll hire you to train me a DM or something. You got all the sites and info, haha.
I do, and I've got some that I like. Oh man, yeah, Joe, anytime, literally anything you need, let me know. I'm just happy to help you guys, and I told Mercer this when I met him. We need more DMs in the world, because people are so afraid to try it, and I'm just trying to help. But that helps immensely with recovering the cost for Big Bad Con. So now I gotta find another fucking goal. Does anyone have any goal ideas? I'm gonna read through this, let me know. We also have BamCool8871 and Legacy309 for following. Thank you so much. Joe, you're fucking amazing, dude. What do you do for a living? Because Joe, for those who weren't here earlier, Joe also donated absurd amounts of money during the Dread campaign to fucking kill us. That we played over on Total Party Chill's channel. It's the VOD's up if you guys want to go see it. It was a lot of fun. The sound quality wasn't great, but holy shit, there were some funny moments. There were a lot of jokes about cocaine in this horror one-shot that we did. Just a surprising amount. Con is the best dumb stat. Con and int, says Drecoblaze. I agree with int, but I think I usually do intelligence and strength. Cash Cow says fast food prices is the reason I use apps. They usually have coupons and deals. Oh, okay. Noggin says he did say he has a very high chance of dying at level 1, and it's very common for him. He has had many, many characters. You know, it's like a serial monogamist at a certain point. You just gotta let him do it. There's no talking down. King Kala says, I just downloaded Dungeon Alchemist on Steam, which is that cool D&D map creator I showed you a couple of months ago. Yeah, dude, I want to try it. It's on my wish list. It's super cool, and you can print physical maps or upload them to Roll20. Oh! Gotcha! I didn't know you could fucking print them and stuff. I just thought you had to work within the system somehow. Goodness. Okay, well that's good to know. I want to try it. I heard they gave out a free, like, Steam key to some creators. I might reach out and be like, hey, can I try this just for funsies? Oh my gosh. Reverse Boris, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Goodness, there's a lot going on here. I'm also still so flustered by Joe's good donation, which helps immensely with the bills. We did also, by the way, for those of you who follow Hamasama-kun and who were there when someone donated a fuck ton of money and made him buy me Korean barbecue, he did in fact do that. He followed through on his promise. We have a photo. I'll post it at some point. But he did do that. He followed through. Drakbane says, Pathfinder 1.0 was D&D 3.5. Yeah, and I've heard it's got improvements. So I think that'd be fun. And I'd also be curious what monsters are different from there, if anything, so I can convert them to D&D, because I'm a slut for D&D, and that's never going to change. Retsu says I learned on Pathfinder. Yeah, that's always fun. Sunward Rex says I thought that said 300,000. God, I wish I could quit my job, not this. KJ Nelson says, hype. Celira says Aircan again? I haven't bought it yet, because I failed to account for the fees from fucking PayPal. So I always... Here's the thing, Streamlabs only integrates with PayPal. They don't integrate with Venmo, but Venmo is easier because Venmo doesn't take cuts. So I just do this thing where I try and keep an eye on my phone for Venmo and see when something pops up there and try and give people a shout out if I catch it. Yeah, anyway, I gotta reset that here in a sec. I'm gonna catch up on chat and then take a quick sec to go take care of that. Buell says, got a dip, but I'll catch your stream tomorrow. Okay, well, have a good night. And then Buell also wants me to drink. Seth says, do you need any new peripherals? I'm looking into it. So I need to be able to do a stream away from my computer at some point so we can do that cooking stream. I think that I might need like a phone stand and potentially like a DSLR to make that happen, which will be really fucking expensive, I'm sure. And I'll have to ask, I need to ask my other creators what they do. I say my other creators, my friends, how they handle that, because I need some stuff, but I don't know what I need yet. And so I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'll let you guys know. I'll add it to the list on the new whiteboard that you guys just bought me too. Good God. Too bad Canadian isn't in the chat right now too. Goodness. Two-Time Pirate says, the world does need more DMs. I'm still waiting to play instead of running it, LOL. Yeah, the disproportion is wild. And I feel like people are afraid of it because it's either a really crunchy game or they're afraid of not knowing all the rules or they think they're not creative, and that's what we're trying to fix. Or they're afraid of like the Mercer effect or the Brendan Lee Mulligan effect where they're like, oh, I can't uphold to this standard. And it's like, you don't have to. No one's gonna expect that. No reasonable player would expect that much of you unless it's like your job and you're getting paid to DM. If that's the case, then yes, like they should be not up to their level, of course, but still like reasonable at being a DM. So people are afraid to try it, and that's kind of what I'm trying to help fix. Taz Dawkins says, this is Alchemy VTT. It is, I don't have Alchemy. Dungeon Alchemist would be a different thing. Wired Nerd says, do you all know about Start Playing Games? Dude, I fucking love Start Playing. Okay, here, you guys want some story. A long time ago when I was first starting out as a content creator, like less than, I want to say I was around 50,000 followers. I got approached by Total Party Chill to talk about Start Playing. And this was before they had like a whole bunch of social media presence. This was before they started getting involved in cons and things like that. And I was like, I have no idea what this is. And also I feel weird taking money from someone to post stuff on my channel. And so I didn't do it. And later that policy kind of developed into what I do now, where I take, I will talk to small businesses that I think are doing amazing things for the community, usually queer-owned or usually women-owned or POC-owned, something like that. They have to be a small business, and I have to genuinely like what they do and genuinely enjoy their product and genuinely want to see it out in the world. And then I will contact them and ask them if I can make a video for them in either for free, like I did for Start Playing, or in exchange for like, I don't know, whatever they have, like a sweatshirt. Sphinx Stationery gave me a campaign notebook just so I could show it off in the video and things like that. So any video that's up on my channel up until this point has always been unpaid sponsorships. That being said, after I rejected Devin from Total Party Chill and said, sorry, I don't do that, or I think I just maybe ghosted him. I was like, send me the info and I'll look it over some other time. I feel so bad for that now, because Start Playing, after I actually looked into it and actually started getting testimonials from other people, and both on the player side and the DM side, because I wanted to hear both sides and make sure everyone had a good experience with it. I found out it was fucking amazing. And they also sponsored like the POC program that sent me to Big Bad Con this past weekend. Devin himself is fucking amazing, an amazing human being. And he bought me like several shots at Gen Con, so I owe him my life. And everyone keeps talking about it, and I think it genuinely did solve the problem. So yeah, I love them. I will sing their praises to the end of time. Wired Nerd says, I'm a pro DM on there. Oh, solid, yeah. Dude, being a pro DM on there, that can pay your bills. I know several people who they just live off of being a DM and playing D&D. And then, of course, on the other side of it, you have someone to play a game for you if you're like, shit, I really want to play, but I don't have any friends who play, or I don't know anyone who's got the schedule down. It's a lot of fun. Okay, I've gone on a rant. I gotta catch up on chat. Someone says, I want a DM, but I need to finish getting my base level info for it done. But the ADHD makes it hard to focus enough to do it, says Dracobane. Yeah, I unfortunately don't have a whole lot of advice on ADHD and DMing. You might want to talk to Katie Soros. She's a way bigger DM, but on that front. Reverse Boris subbed with Prime. Thank you so much. And then Yee Gang type shit and Blackie Chan both followed as well. Hello. Someone says charisma is the best dump stat. Yeah, I just find it hard to roleplay as someone with low charisma when I personally have high charisma. Tiny Jojo says military guy. I fix planes and fly around the world and fix them and get them off the ground. How? Okay. About to deploy list next week so I can get all my donos out before I'm gone for half a year. Half a year? Shit, dude. So you're not gonna be here? Fuck, we'll miss you. That sucks. But stay safe. I guess if you're a mechanic, then you're kind of safe, but still. Retsu says, can confirm Dungeon Alchemist is amazing. And easy exports. The 360 Archangel, thank you for following. Noggin says, thank you for the info. I figured con wasn't a dump stat, but who knows, my knowledge is very limited. It's not usually a dump stat. Definitely don't recommend going into the negatives. Wired Nerd says, I just moved to Bend and I'm still trying to meet my TTRPG community here. I have such sad news for you, dude. There is not one. Yeah. Start Playing is your best bet. We have exactly one. If you haven't been to Modern Games yet, it's the only tabletop shop. Okay. Fred Q Fuck says, I have this fun habit of creating characters by rolling stats in order and then picking a class based off of what stats I got. That sounds fun. Pirio says, is Foundry worth it? I haven't played around with it much, so I don't know. Is it free? It's not free, right? If it's not free, I have hesitancy about it. King Cal says you should try out Dungeon Alchemist. It's way stronger than I anticipated. Solid. I'll add it to the list. I want to give that a shot. Random Asin is now 8 years Army, and they're paying for nursing school. Hey, that's awesome. It's like the upside of it. Fred Q Fuck says, did this once I got a 4 in strength and then made them a druid and then proceeded to get one shot by a shadow at like level 8. That will happen. That's not great. Someone said I still have sunlight. Yes, that is because I am up in the Pacific Northwest. I am in Oregon. Drakabane says, let me know if you need a DSLR. I do have an old one that I'm not using, but still perfectly good. Oh shit, yeah. Maybe. Can you like message me somewhere so I can coordinate, think about that later? Because that wouldn't be a bad idea. I also need to make sure that that's actually where the direction I want to go, and like I have the things to make that work. I wouldn't want to take it off you unless I have a plan for it. So it's just like a forming thought. 5 says we need a bot that gives us a counter for every time it says I'm a slut for. Yeah, dude, that'll be my first ever merch. It's just saying I'm a slut for lore on a big old t-shirt or something, or a hat. Sonord Rex says I was supposed to DM for my friends group because I wanted to make a Fable-themed D&D campaign, but the group I was in had the attention span of squirrels, and it all just ended up being everyone talking about movies and games. We never played anything. That can still be fun. One of the things I like about D&D is that it gets people like in the same room to talk about random shit. So like I've formed a habit now where I fully anticipate that the first 30 minutes to an hour of every session is going to be just people catching up. And then I basically get them into it from there. Wired Nerd says they gotta go, but have an awesome day. I hope you have a fantastic day as well. Hunter Camp says, did you order the candles, Diana? I did. So I looked into it after stream, and the candle is 35. Is expensive. It's not cheap, and then also the shipping cost kind of killed me. So I might reach out to Tabletop Candle Co. and ask them if they can give me a coupon for free shipping, so that way I can get it. Otherwise, until then, I can't quite make the leap myself. But I'm still burning through the Druid one. This thing has been going for fucking forever. Dude, this... Ugh. I'm gonna try not to spill candle wax everywhere, put the candle out. This Druid candle has been low-key the light of my life for the past several weeks now as I've been burning it. Like, non-stop, basically, every single night. And it's still going. They've burned for fucking forever. And it's so good. And it smells so amazing. Yee Gang type shit says, why not men owned? I don't exclude men owned. I just try and keep an eye out for minority owned businesses to work with, but I wouldn't exclude them. In fact, I've got a couple in the pipeline that are men owned and still small businesses. That's my only hard requirement is it has to be a small business so that way I can justify not taking money from them. Because I don't want to. That seems weird. My ethics are a little fucked up. I'm still working on them. Simi, welcome to the chat. I'm Endeavor says ADHD and D. Oh yeah, ADHD Adventures or something. Very famous TTRPG group. You can watch them on. I don't think they give resources though. I think it's just an AP, an actual play. Everyone's talking about cameras. I'm trying to get ahead. Someone says that's why it's called role-playing. Yep. Do you have any tips for people who want to create TTRPG content like games, modules, or add-ons? Unfortunately, that's not my forte. I'm mostly on the DM side of things. I would say go to cons, though. You'll get the chance to talk to publishers and things like that and kind of like network with them a little bit because there's a lot of people who are selling their games who are like, eager to talk about their game and their process. Endeavor says, what group size are you typically shooting for in 5e? Since I play modules mostly, I try and go for between 3 and 5. I can do 6 and I can do 3. If I have 3, I implant a DMPC, and I have a couple different like videos on my TikTok channel on how to effectively run a DMPC without them taking over the campaign. So I kind of go along those lines. It's Chris1, thank you for following. Retsu says, Foundry is amazing. I have all these tools. I can share some if you want to play with it. Oh yeah, I'll look into it at some point. I'm so stuck in with Tabletop Simulator. Someone says the food should be here. Okay, so let me finish scrolling through this, and then I'll go grab it. It's Chris says, this is a PC game. I'm so new, I don't even know what D&D is. It is now. I mean, it has been for a while. So it's Dungeons and Dragons. It's a tabletop role-playing game. It's not easy to learn, but it's so much fun when you're in it. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of camera talk that is just going so far over my head. Seth says Loki reminds me, season 2 of Loki starts Thursday. I don't watch Loki. I am so sorry. Legacy says, do you go through all the books for the rules, or are there any websites or good info that's easier to access? So when I look up a rule in particular, I just Google it. I cannot be bothered to like actually sort through the DMG and like, oh, sorry, the sunset looks fucking gorgeous outside my window. You guys can't see it. Sorry. But Yeah, I Google any rule that I need to see on the fly. It's much easier than looking in the book, unless it's like a table that has like items and stuff on it. I don't recommend reading any of the books cover to cover unless you really need to, or unless you really want extra info. I would just cobble it together over time by either watching other people play, because I think that's the best way to learn the rules, or, you know, like I said, just Googling the rules as you need them. Tiny Tojo says, I don't know if it is, I'm just saying it's time. Got it, I'll go grab it. Sin says, au revoir, Diana, and chat. Gotta read some books for tonight. Have fun. T2 the Langbang says, my highest liked TikTok comment ever was on your picnic post. Dude, I love that post. That was a lot of fun. I liked that video. I'm shocked you guys found it so, like, I didn't think it would get up there, but that's so cool. Chatbox says, D&D is so fun, especially you got a crazy imagination. And even if you don't, dude, like, I'm not an imaginative person. I can just make it work. And so I try and help other people with that. Here we go. Oh, no need to apologize for the camera talk, Chatterbox. You are good. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything on chat for me. Fred Q Fox says, been quite a few D&D campaigns in the past. Baldur's Gate 3 is by far the most successful one. Yeah, dude, because fucking Larian. And also the old games run off of old systems. And they're not super friendly to the renaissance of people getting into D&D for the first time in 5e. Because the old games are like, what, 2e, 3, 3.5, something like that? Zalara says, my favorite DM words are, you can certainly try. And then DKM says, I'm trying to pitch my one-shot on a Discord server. If you do any virtual play, do you have any tips on what should be included when describing your campaign? Yeah, the mood, and then state also like 1 or 2 different like pieces of media that match the vibe of the campaign. So you can be like, hey, if you really like this movie, this is the tone that we're going for. Because that will instantly give people a good idea of like what to expect and whether or not they want to get into it. Mr. Z says, I still have all my old D&D version 1 books. Should I sell them or hold on to them? I'd hold on to them just for the fucking bragging value, dude. That sounds fun. A bunch of people are saying hello. AJ says, I love the layout. Thank you. I worked hard on it. And then T2 the Langbang says, I wish more women were as direct as you are, yo. It's refreshing. Oh, with like dating and stuff? Yeah, I'm trying to just push reciprocity, I guess. Regardless of gender, you should be taking your partner out on dates. You know, it's the nice thing to do. DKM says, okay, appreciate it. And Euk Banger says, yo, who also just followed, as did K Lobos. Thank you so much, guys. Oh, and as did the Lasagna Man in the flesh. Seth says, Neverwinter Nights was a big game circa like 2000. It doesn't hold up well though, right? I don't think. All right, I gotta go grab the food. So I am gonna put you guys on a be right back screen, just for the sake of the fact that I also need to get water and whatnot. So let me do this. Be right back. All right. Oh my god. Hold on. Fucking trapped my mouse under my shit. Okay, here we go. We're back. Hi. Hi. Oh, I need some light. I actually got a little bit of light, kind of. Slightly. Anyway, I got some snacks. Massive thank you to, I think it was Joe, Tiny Toe Joe, for fucking sending me food. You guys, I haven't had Burger King in an absurdly long amount of time, and I do it all for these little onion rings. Thank you so much, Joe. It always makes my day when you guys send me food specifically. Like, Amazon wishlist stuff, so nice of you, very cool. Direct donations help with very specific things that I desperately need. Things like paying for Big Bad Con, paying for, you know, all the dinners and stuff that we went out and did. The Airbnb had some extra costs associated. Oh, no, it didn't. But like luggage that I didn't expect to have to check and things like that. However, food hits different. So amazing. Joe, you're awesome. #1 fan. I will be right back. I want to close that window. Hold on. The stream is so dark when I do this. And also it's just not balanced well at all. Okay, sorry. Lions Roar, Sith 1911, Chic, Hidden Shark, Uke Banger, K Lovos, thank you for following. And then we also have Hidden Shark who subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. So let me run through and reset those goals real fast. And if you're hanging out over on TikTok, be sure to hop over to Twitch. That is where I'm doing the majority of my chatting with people. So the next, okay, hold on. We need a dono goal. I have a list of these. Noggin2 also subbed with Prime. Yeah, if you guys have Prime, and you want to sub with that would help me out a lot. I think it's like a couple dollars for every Prime sub. And then it doesn't go to Bezos. So, you know, reroutes a little bit. Let's see. Oh! This is a really good one. And I'm gonna keep you in suspense for a quick sec while I Google how much this is, just to make sure that it makes sense. Amazing. Okay. And then I gotta reset the progress. Do. So, here's the thing. So while I was at Big Bad Con, Chris was telling me that he got some Uncrustables, or intended to, for Gen Con. And, I guess someone, like, ate all of them, and he never got a chance to eat them. So the entire weekend we were talking about getting Uncrustables so we could enjoy them for once, for this con. And then ever since that, we never ended up doing it, and I haven't been able to get Uncrustables out of my head. I was even in fucking Endeavorance's chat earlier talking about Uncrustables because I just can't stop thinking about them. They're so good, and they come frozen too. Like, they last for fucking forever in a freezer. Wave says, Diana the Rose, have you had the Nutella Uncrustables? I don't know if I would like that as much. Maybe? I didn't even know that was a thing. My local store only offers the grape and strawberry ones. But I'm going for strawberry, by the way. I don't know if you guys are grape enthusiasts, but I'm a bigger fan of strawberry. J Cool Soldier, Not Spooderman119, and Boolade, Boolin, Nismo351, thank you for following. And then Noggin2, K Lovos, and J Cool Soldier also subscribed with Prime. And then Cash Cal fulfilled my fucking...
Love the D&D tips. Your stream is amazing. Also Goyo Crust Tables.
Yeah!
Smile.
Alright, dude, I'm fulfilled. I could quit streaming for the rest of the week and be so happy. I won't. I'm gonna stick around because I'm having fun. But thank you so much, Cash Cal. That's, alright. Instantly checking that one off. Guys, I'm running out of things to set as goals. Fuck. I was gonna put chicken nuggies as a joke, but you guys already got me got me like a chicken sandwich, which is like the +1 chicken nugget. Tiny Tojo says $6 goal. That's laughable. Look, I want to tell you guys what it's for, and I'm gonna be fully honest. I could use some Uncrustables. So I am saving up money for PAX Unplugged and like the accommodation and flights, but I don't know how much it's gonna be yet, so I haven't put that out. And then, I also am doing a dedicated stream next Tuesday. You guys are hearing it first here, so listen up. If you come by next Tuesday, I'm giving out 5 PAX Unplugged badges. Full on, $85 value, 3-day badges. So swing by. It's a giveaway. I'm going to announce it later, but they'll be the 10th, I think it is. So yeah. So during that stream, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing as here, and then also fundraising for PAX to go to PAX Unplugged, essentially. Because I got a creator badge, but they aren't paying for flights or accommodation or anything, so just a little tip. Taito Joe says I'll leave for my deployment that day. Oh no, I'm sorry. Sal says, what state is PAX Unplugged? It is over in Pennsylvania. I believe it's in Philadelphia, which is a step up from Gen Con being in fucking Indy, but yeah, that's where we're at. Also, I gotta change this fucking goal again. All right. How about something not food related? Ooh, shit. This is a good one. Okay. I don't know if you guys look at my Amazon wishlist, but there was this thing I added a while ago that I saw a video about, which was functionally like a fake set of fangs that mold to your teeth that are like supposedly way better than normal fake fangs. Let me see, 23.65 plus fees. That'll be, we'll just do this. And then reset that. Give me one sec. Oh, whoops, that was the wrong one. And then 20. Swear to God, I know what I'm doing. Great. I want to try fangs. I feel like I see TikTokers who have like little fake fangs, and I just think they're cute. Like, even without the cosplay part of it, I think they're fucking awesome. So I want to do that one of these days. It's been on my wish list for forever, but I never got around to buying it. And I feel like I could do some really fucking sick thirst traps and stuff in it. Rexorian says, interesting stream, been working, so I've been lurking. We'll catch up later. All right, well, awesome. The VOD's also going to be up on Twitch. Someone says, what tips do you have for making a character meaningful? Give them goals, give them character development, and give them interactions with people. I hate it when people like have characters and they're like, oh yeah, all my friends are dead, all my family is dead, I have no connections in the world, I'm just a free-floating person. Like, that's fine, but like, it's hard to work with as a DM. So having connections that your DM can functionally work with, and especially if those connect to other people's backgrounds. So for instance, if your father, you know, was a teacher at the local school of magic, but you hated that, so you decided not to be a mage and you went to go be a fighter instead. Maybe your father taught one of your fellow party members how to do magic. Intricate connections like that can help out a lot. Death Blizz says, what's the stream about? We are doing D&D advice, and then also eating Burger King. Thanks to Tiny Chocho. Zolaro says, I live in Pennsylvania, finally something close by. Yeah, so I never even heard of PAX Unplugged, but apparently it's like the next best thing to Gen Con. Also, Dazbones, thank you for following. It's like, all of my friends are gonna be there. It's like the one other thing that people go for. It's not so big as Gen Con that people will fly across the pond for it, but like, everyone's gonna be there who lives in America, I guess, who's like a major creator. And so I'm gonna be there as a creator. Got a free badge. So is the lovely Endeavorance, who might be lurking somewhere around here still. Alec the Bard, Hamasama-kun, D&D Imposter. Fuck it, everyone's gonna be there. Everyone's gonna be there. It's fun. It's great. All my friends are gonna be there. Dracobane says, also give the characters feels, not just fears. Also feels. Not just phobias, but things like, are they afraid of turning into a copy of their parent? Afraid of not living up to their expected destiny, etc. Yeah, I fucking hate, I will say this. I'm not a huge fan of the default, like, character build options that they give you for bonds, flaws, ideals, and character traits. I feel like there could be way more, and having, like, dedicated massive tables of potential ones to choose from that aren't limited to your backstory, you know, that aren't specific to any particular backstory. I feel like that'd be better for people who aren't super creative like me. I usually just go on and Google like massive lists of potential personality traits, or I go talk to ChatGPT and have that work for me making some up, because like, I don't know, the default ones are overused because there's not many of them in the player's handbook, and just like not always I guess diverse. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of them. So yeah, definitely go into depth on those specific things. Gosh, Cal. Jesus, dude.
I look forward to your fangs. Long.
Me too. I might actually buy those right now because I'm so fucking stoked on those fangs in particular. Holy shit, dude. I saw someone, I don't know who it was. I gotta go thank them. But literally, like, the fucking... When I put things on my Amazon wishlist, I put, like, little comments on everything saying the priority, and then also, like, some comments about why I want it or what I'm gonna do with it. The one for fangs just said, oh my god, I want to try fangs so bad, you guys, holy shit, in all caps. So that's that. So shit, yeah, I might just buy that because I really want to do, maybe I'll have them by next week and we could do the PAX Ustream and fangs. Is that something you guys would want? Depending on how much they fuck up my speech. Retsu says, this is why you don't give us things that look like progress or XP bars. I know, I'm so sorry. I need something else. Fuck. Someone else come up with something else. What do you want to see on a donation goal? I don't know. Jacobane says, people forget there's so much that those tables are suggestions, not the only options. Yeah, so in D&D Beyond, they give you, like, I don't like how they present it. I don't use D&D Beyond much. I used it for the first time, like, maybe a week or two ago. And when they have you fill in your background and traits and things like that, the first thing they show you are the tables that you can pick from. And then you have to scroll way down and then get rid of them and then add back in your own if you want to do custom ones. Like, you don't have to, but, like, most people will see the fill-in ones first. And so they won't... they won't know that they can do that they can make their own. Zelira says, start with a D&D book you don't have. That's a good idea. That's a solid one, actually. I might do that. Oh, someone else says elf ears. So I've been looking at elf ears. The problem is I'm brown and elf ears are not. So I'd have to find something. Okay, wait, I'm missing things. Dracobane says, wait, Diana, on your link tree, where does that "here from" refer to? So I use my link tree as my business card. I just had a QR code because I didn't have physical business cards, and I was at a meet and greet, mixer, where I was talking to a bunch of industry professionals, and so I just had my link tree, and so I was like, please email me. Like, I swear to God, I'm not unprofessional. Like, this is what you're supposed to be seeing. If you're here from BBC, which is Big Bad Con, email me. It did not work. Instead, I just took people's business cards and they asked me to email them anyway because they're important people. They're busy people. I had to talk to the lovely Amanda, the COO of the Adventure Zone, about a project that I want to work on. And then also Matt Mercer, who's the sweetest fucking human being. I have his business. He gave me his business card and he was like, please email me about this. It's up on my shelf. I want to put my D20s on it to charge in the moonlight. But it's wild, dude. That con was amazing for me, and I think you guys, if you see me do amazing things in the future, you can basically boil it down to that con, because that's like the start of a fucking huge trajectory jump. Vinyl 6, thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so a D&D book. Let me find one, because they're all like 50, right? Ish. Okay, I have the Monster Manual, I have the Player's Handbook, I have the DMG. I don't have Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which would be a good one. I like the compilation ones. Has anyone actually... Do people like Keys from the Golden Vault? Oh, I don't have Tasha's. I should get Tasha's. Can the keep is like 26? Okay. Yeah, I could do Tasha's, which is 2610. So we'll just say 30. Because that will help out with Tasha's Cauldron of all the shit. Of all that good stuff. Here we go. Because I'm shocked I don't have it already. I should have. That's like one of those things that you really should have. Okay. Stellar. We're set. We're good. Alrighty. Karaoke says Keys is okay. Got it. I haven't heard anyone talk about it at all, so I just assumed it wasn't good or something. Dracobane says the opening blurb to the 5e DMG actually has a whole section about that idea, the idea of rule 0 and all that. Yeah, I like that they're flexible about that sort of thing, where they're like, hey, if someone else isn't cool with that, like, you know, you can change it. Everything's flexible. The world's your oyster. Cash Cow says, nose goes this time, not it. You're just so sweet. Thank you so much, honestly. That makes me really happy. I like those sorts of things. Frostborn says if you're getting something censored, they have bundles. I can't read that, and for some reason my moderation stuff isn't letting me see. Oh, D&D Beyond. Oh fuck, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't have D&D Beyond. I should. I should. That'd be better. I'll have that as a goal down the road. Because like it's like so expensive, but I'm such a completionist that I would need the physical books and then also the D&D Beyond books. So I haven't even dipped my toe into it, because wouldn't all the books, like the entire collection, be like, is it a subscription thing? It'd be fucking expensive, is the thing. But in any case, goal bundles and the script to share with all your players. The what? Taito Joe. Fuck's sake.
No goals here, ha ha ha.
Alright, someone else come up with another goal, because I can't fucking deal with this anymore. Okay, we got Tasha's. We got Fang's. We got... Fuck's sake. We got recovery from Big Bad Con, which is huge. That was $300, by the way, also from Joe. So everyone say thank you to Joe for enabling me to go to cons and stuff. I can't do the PAX U stuff yet because I'm waiting for next week to do that. But I'll start that probably on Monday, continue it to Tuesday with the giveaway, and then maybe also do it Wednesday, depending on how much we raise. And then we'll call that good. Give like a ballpark for a cosplay. I don't know. I'd have to look up cosplay like things. Taitojo says I found a dice tower you should get. Oh, what's it called? Mini boxes. That's a good idea. I have a shelf full of minis that I can't show you guys from here. All unpainted, but that's something we're also going to do on this stream. Is kind of like go through beginning mini painting tips. Brandon Masson says you have lights on the way. I do. They're still on the way. Frostborn says D&D Beyond source bundles for a gold. The subscription will let you share the materials with your players/friends. Okay. Karaoke Kev says, oh, I see PAX on events, so that's happening. Yes.
Through
so
this goal, the next, and the next after that maybe. Hey, keep making the D&D community amazing.
Retsu, you have to tell me what to spend that on. I can't just take it from you without knowing what direction to go in it. Oh my god, I appreciate that. Oh, sorry, definitely not Retsu. Thank you so much. Good god, you guys are so fucking nice. Jesus. This is way more than I thought would happen for a D&D help stream. But I'm glad you guys are down for it. And okay, like, I don't know. It's cool to see you supporting a creator who's trying to support you back. I never expect anything. Yada yada yada. Always enjoy it. Y'all are so cool and so supportive. Dracobane says Govee lights. They're arguably better than Nanoleaf. Govee. I'll open a tab and look at that. I also need to grab this dice tower from that Joe recommended. All of the Basilisk. Dice Tower campaign. Whoa. On Etsy. Aha. Here we go. Retsu says, I don't know, go buy yourself some Uncrustables and cookies and food. We got the Uncrustables down. I have cookies just lying around. Do whatever you want. All right, fuck. Yeah, all right. Fine. Thank you, Retsu. I appreciate that immensely. But now I gotta change my goal to something else. Yet again. Oh, shit. This is like fancy. Hold on. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. So a little while ago, I set up something where I can open a incognito window and share it with y'all. Let me do this. Let me hide my bookmarks tab and then do this. Here we go. Weird. It won't go away. That's okay. There's nothing incriminating here. So what was it called? Follow the Basilisk? Dice Tower. Of course it's not working. Hold on. Give me a sec. I gotta test this anyway. Chrome. Chrome, please. Please, please, Chrome. Chrome, you're fucking embarrassing me, please. Incognito tab. Here we are. Solid. That's what we're looking at. It's so fucking cool. It's like, is it bronze? 300mm 3D printed in resin, great detail and solid build, awesome for RPG board games and display if you wish to paint it. Note that assembling might be a bit tricky, but it's done in a way so you don't see the junctions. Comes unpainted, requires supports that you might need to remove before painting the model. Shit. This guy's expression, dude. Alrighty, let's get back to it. We don't have a game up. There we go. Wonderful. Find caramel elf ears. I could, yeah, okay. So let me write all these down. Someone says frozen dino nuggets. Weirdly enough, that's actually already on the list. So from Follow the Basilisk, the Dice Tower, the D&D Beyond stuff, D&D Beyond everything, like the bundles, all the 5 ebooks, more 5 ebooks. Got it. I think with Tasha's, like that's most of the core ones. I guess I need the, what's the other one? Xanathar's? Cosplay stuff, including ears. I won't share the specifics, but a streamer I follow had a hysterical oopsie screen share. Oh no. Yikes. Oh, also, Karaoke Kev, thank you for the subscription with Prime. I appreciate that. DWH also followed, as did Redbeard 1008, Kipster J987, and I think I already talked about them, and Vinyl 6 and whatnot. Sick. You see what's happening over on TikTok. Someone said I have pretty hair. Thank you. It's fucking it's killing my curtain bangs. Every time a hair breaks off, there's like a 70% chance it's blonde because it's so frazzled. Retsu says, nice, we'll get that then. I can. Easy. Can do. Kate Lovo says, working on my first campaign, what are some monsters you'd recommend using for early encounters that are also easy to reflavor? Literally anything. So I reflavor oozes a lot by just changing the substance that they're made out of. So instead of normal ooze, for instance, in my horror campaign, it's coagulated blood. And then oh my gosh, fuck. So like whatever the nearby substance is, right? So maybe just like you're in a wizard's fucking environment and he's an alchemist's place, his tower or whatnot. And there are shelves and shelves and shelves of potions. However, at the time that you walk into the room, every single potion opens at once. They all flow up and together and it forms an ooze. So oozes are really easy to reskin. I love them for that reason. Because it's just, hey, take a liquid, make it scary. Redbeard says, as a new DM, I always feel like I'm not making my world very immersive. Any tips? Currently struggling through Wild Beyond the Witchlight as my first campaign DMing. That's not an easy one. Mostly because it doesn't even take place on the Prime Material plane, right? I haven't looked at it too much, but it introduces a lot of new monsters and ideas that I don't know, I don't see many people play it. However, as far as immersion goes, like I recommend going out of your way to find music that correlates to the like actual campaign. So if you go on YouTube and you're like Wild Beyond the Witchlight ambient music or D&D ambient music, and make it so that send that to your players. You know, I don't know if you play in person or IRL or over virtual platforms, but music does an amazing amount of the legwork for immersion. If you have like still images, art of the environments that you could present instead of displaying them, that also takes a lot of the work off your shoulders. And there's some other tips I have that it would be hard to get into now. That's like a massive topic that I'm already like losing track of chat on. Karaoke Kev says, now that you're traveling to all these cons, anyway, PAX. Definitely PAX. Any travel stuff like luggage or whatever? I actually am doing okay on luggage because I went to Switzerland not too long ago. I was a +1 for someone's wedding. OGS Tapper, Lukester 689, Edicus, and Mischief 5K. Thank you for following, you guys. And if you're over on TikTok, be sure to hop over to Twitch so you can actually follow along, ask questions, and get answers a little more quickly, and just kind of like hang out and see a lot better view too. So I have a good amount of luggage stuff. Pretty good. Maybe I could do the luggage fees for PAX. Would it be cheating if I did that? Because I said I was going to do all my PAX fundraising next week. Because that's when I'm announcing that I'm going to PAX on the rest of the platforms, and that's when I'm doing the giveaway. The giveaway for 5 PAX Unplugged batches, by the way. Full 3-day patches. They don't accommodate anything else, but yeah, I guess the luggage fees, because it's 35, I usually fly United, and it's 35 one way for that sort of thing. So I could set that as the next goal. And we don't have a sales tax or anything, so I don't have to deal with that. Let's do that. Let's go for, oh my gosh. Wait, I gotta remind myself what I need to buy too. Holy shit. Def B and Dr. Bong Grip, thank you for following. Carrie Kev says, oh, I haven't bought my pack stuff yet, so I'll have to tune in on the giveaway. Yeah, so it's next Tuesday. I tried to make it as fast as possible, so that way I would try and get ahead of people buying the badges. I have to check with them. I can ask them if someone already bought it, that they can get it refunded instead as their price. I'll have to ask. I can contact them. Frostborn says, don't you need blinds? I don't. They're good. They're vibing. They're supposed to be like blackout curtains and stuff too. So that's always good. Defby says came from TikTok. Oh, solid. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so what am I buying? Fangs, Uncrustables. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You guys are wild. Holy shit. I can pay my bill for Big Bad Con. And then, oh god, what was the other thing? The blanket is on the way. I think it's out in my mailbox. It's like the blanket and the lights. They both came from Amazon, so it should be pretty quick. But that should be here. I'm still using the old one just because I haven't had a chance to run out and get it. I've been sprinting around unpacking after Big Bad Con and all that. So today's goal is now luggage. What is the Philadelphia airport called? What's the like 3-letter code? Does anyone know off the top of their head? Does anyone go to Philadelphia? Fenrir says, put me in coach, I can play center field. And then Dracobane says, a ballpark price for a cosplay. I can, okay. I'd have to look into cosplay stuff. I don't know what a cosplay costs, is the only thing. It could be like hundreds, dude. I don't know. Dracobane says noise canceling headphones for the flight. I actually got some from Eric, who was here earlier. The amazing Young Pirate Empire got me loops. If you guys ever have sensory issues, holy shit, get loops. PHL. Okay, thank you. 2 PHL. And it's almost always 35, but due to fees from, yeah, I'm just gonna set it to 40 because fucking, what is it called? Is a bitch. The, PayPal. Yes, that's the one. Goodness. Okay. Here we are. We're set. We're good. Can close that again. Be warned, it's an awful airport? Really? Oh, shit. Dude, okay. Let me tell you something about airports. Holy fuck. My enemy. Okay, if there's one thing I fucking hate and cannot stand in this existence, it's the fucking Boston Logan Airport. And anyone who's been there knows what I mean and has my back 100%. Because when that airport, they make you walk so far for no reason. Well, obviously for a reason, but it's just like miles and miles of empty hallways. No matter where you land, if you're connecting to somewhere else, it's gonna be a full-on mile away. Someone said LAX is worse. LAX is not worse. I mean, I connected through LAX a couple times. I like it better. San Francisco is probably like my top 2 favorite airport ever. San Francisco was so cool. They had so much food and it was quiet because they didn't do announcements for the entire airport all over the place. They just have announcements at your gate. That dude says, are you coming to Philly? Yes, so I'm going for PAX Unplugged, December 1st through 3rd. And I'm gonna be there probably for like a couple extra days. TBD, it's me and a bunch of other influencer friends. We're all going. It's gonna be a lot of fun for your tabletop convention. Will says Heathrow also sucks. I hear that a lot. I've been through Heathrow once. But yeah, I don't know. It's all right. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm like so neutral. Someone says Heathrow has gotten better. Okay. Dracobane says Newark has an area where if you take the wrong turn, you have to go through security again and there's no signage showing that. Oh, that's the fucking worst. Tiny Joe says, time to go do some Divinity because I played too much Baldur's Gate 3 campaigns. Yeah, dude. We are Divinity stands in this household. We love Divinity. Fenrir says, my wife got loops. They're pretty great. Yeah, they're awesome. Karaoke Kev says, arriving into Philly is good, but departing is the worst. Oh, okay. I don't think I haven't even checked if it's, it can't be a direct flight. My airport only goes to 5 different locations. This is like a small town airport, not international. And so I might have to connect somewhere and go through Philly, and I don't want to deal with luggage at a mid-airport. Dracobane says PDX has its problems, but I think it's a fairly decent airport. Welcome to the airport stream, guys. We are just chatting about airports, rating them, talking shit about them, especially the fucking Boston Logan Airport. Fenrir says, I've only been to like 5 different airports in my life, haha. Will says, loops, headset? No, so they're these tiny little, let me pull them up. They are kind of like noise canceling, like earbuds, essentially. They're incredibly soft, very comfortable, and they don't look like much from the outside. Let me, new incognito window. Oh my god, my incognito shit is in light mode. Huh. Okay, this stream is about to get sponsored by Loop. And so, here we are. Fuck. Okay, hold on. Let me do this. Chrome, properties. We don't want a specific... Here we go. That should fix it. What? No, not that one. Where did that one come from? Here we go. Yeah, that should fix it. Okay, so these are loops. You see how tiny those things are? They are small. And like, I don't know, I got the black ones and they're like fully noise canceling. Like better than AirPods are for that sort of thing. I don't know, they're kind of expensive though. And you can also get ones that work at concerts and things like that. Not sponsored, again, I just fucking highly recommend them. So, someone says LGA is the worst airport. Picking someone up from that is a love language. Oof. Frostborn says, Baldur's Gate 3 started crashing frequently for me today with today's patch. I didn't realize there was a patch. Shit. That's never a good sign because like my mods are, oh, sorry, posture check. Thank you, Palpatine's Fist. Wes from Arcane Anthems has popped into the TikTok chat and says, Paxio, are you gonna be there? You are, right? Oh god, I hope so. We should hang. I want to talk more. Arcane Anthems, ladies and gentlemen, fucking favorite person in the TTRPG world. Just an absolute sweetie. And also makes free D&D, or like music and things like that people can use in actual plays that's copyright free. Noble goal. I appreciate it and respect it immensely. Karaoke Kev says that woman has Fruit Loops in her ears. Yeah. Cashcal says not sponsored, but could be. Hey, if Loops is listening, I would 100% do that sponsorship. I support it. Taito Joe says, do you have any tips for doing what your characters would do instead of metagaming? I know I want to play the best, but if my person is dumb or was good at heart, I would just make characters that aren't overtly going against your personal beliefs. So like I say that I hate playing characters with low charisma because I have high charisma. I don't like playing characters, I don't know. You got to be careful about. I would just build your character around what you think would be best for you to roleplay. And Gina told me this. Oh, hey, it's Gina. You should follow her if you haven't already. She's an excellent role player. She was on Secrets of the Core, one of Alec the Bard's campaigns for Tales of Novum. Go check it out on YouTube. Amazing. And she recommends taking some aspect of your personality and making that the core aspect of your character's personality and playing off of that. So that can help a lot. And that kind of guides you more towards easier roleplay. As far as metagaming goes, it's hard to say, like, just don't do it. I think a good portion of it is also on the DM to, I don't know, change things up a little bit. So that way, you know, if you're fighting a troll and you happen to know that trolls have a weakness to fire or whatever. Fatty Chaos, thank you for following. Maybe changing it so they have a weakness to frost instead to make it so that metagaming isn't possible or is subverted in some way. Because, like, it is hard to metagame. If you know something, it's hard to pretend like you don't, you know. Palpatine Smith says that sandwich looks great. Yeah, I've been holding it for like 5 minutes. Give me a sec. Anyway, Taito Joe says, I feel bad for the NPC, so it's hard for me to kill or steal at random and stuff that our party might be aligned on the more... Wait. Oh, you feel bad for NPCs, and so when your party is evil, it's harder to do those sorts of things. Yeah, I don't know how... I don't have a tip for that one, other than... Fuck them, they're NPC. No, I don't know. I unfortunately don't have any advice on that front. It is hard. It's hard to do evil things. Even playing Baldur's Gate 3 and doing, like, an evil Dark Urge playthrough and leaning fully into it and deliberately making evil choices, it's hard. I feel bad for killing that one lady. By the way, we played that on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock if you guys haven't tuned in. Fenrir says, what? Trolls have a weakness to fire? I think so. So that prevents their regeneration, right? I thought. Drakbane says, I played a Warforged Barbarian who had lowish wisdom and charisma, which I played as they essentially had severely strong ADHD and autism, which I was only really coming into my own diagnosis at the time. Yeah, so that's the core of just, like, easy roleplay, is just making it you in a different font. Let's see. Drakbane says, so they could not understand social cues, but could give you an encyclopedic knowledge of metallurgy because they were a professional blacksmith. That's kind of fun. Having a character who is like, has a special interest or a career background in something, and then role-playing the shit out of that and doing the research to role-play it accurately is so cool. I have a character in one of my campaigns. His name's Luckin. He used to be a actor. And so we made it so that every time someone comes into our game and like starts talking about some subject, Luckin comes in and is like, oh, that reminds me of this piece of media. But that piece of media is like some parody of like our fucking real world media. And so like we're playing Curse of Strahd, and as soon as vampires came into play, Luckin busted in and was like, y'all talking about vampires? Like, I watched Dusk so many times. And I just had to butt in and be like, Dusk is a very famous play in the continent that Luckin's from. Things like that are just so funny to me. And it's just fun to do the research for as well. Kashkal says, trying to be evil in games hurts my soul. It does. It sucks. I do want to do like a good playthrough at some point for the sake of redemption, but I would do that off stream because I would like to be able to play it in one run if I can, and playing it in small bits, it hurts. Forgive my munching, but the food is getting cold. Tiny Joe said, and I also never eat before these streams, so thank you so much again, Joe, for reminding me to sustain myself. I will also say that, like, during the entirety of PAX U, we forgot to get groceries the first night before the con actually started, and so it was like we only had alcohol. We remembered alcohol. We forgot everything else, and so every single morning we didn't have groceries, we didn't have anything for lunch or dinner. Like, we were running around. I lost 3 pounds over the course of 3 days, is what I'm getting at. So I've been forgetting to eat lately. This helps a ton. Tiny Toe Joe says, in Baldur's Gate 3, I told a kid no to camping and to go die, pretty much, and it hurt my heart. Yeah, I can't wait to get to that part for stream. Fenrir Starker says, yeah, I was trying to be funny. I gotcha. Unworthy Wolf, hello. Hi, good to see you. Also, Zulu King 52, thank you for following. Cash Call says alcohol has calories in it. Yeah. Let's pretend it doesn't. Pluto says, we're gonna make a list for PAX, girl. Yeah, I want to make a grocery list and go shopping with you guys, because that's also a fun part of con, is to just do domestic shit with your friends. Just to see how they react in like the middle of a Walmart next to a screaming child or some shit, or like they can just talking about shit. Having the stimuli and being like, hey, this particular chip is really good, and someone else coming up and being like, wait, I hate salt and vinegar, and then you being like, okay, well, you can't come live with us anymore, find your own housing for the weekend. Mr. C Major, thanks for following. Let's see, Palpatine's Fist says, I remember playing Fable. Oh my god, I forgot. God, yeah, I haven't played Fable in forever. I used to have it for Xbox, for my 360, but my 360 ROD'd. And I don't use my One anymore, to be fully honest. I think I should just, maybe I'll start putting games on the dono goals. Anyway, I remember playing Fable when I was younger, and there was a gate that wouldn't open unless you committed an act of great evil in front of it, so I took every NPC from the nearby village and murdered them in front of the gate, and it still wouldn't open. I don't remember that part. Holy shit. I wonder what you're supposed to do. Yeah, if they remade Fable, oh god, I would love that. I also get Fable and Fate mixed up a lot. Alex Ramon says, I love your vibe. Have fun at con. Thank you. I will. Pat Freeman says, you're a true gem. Oh, you're a true game. True gamer? Either. When you forget to eat. Yeah, it's very common, dude. So that's why I guess that's the good side of streaming Baldur's Gate 3 as opposed to just playing it, is that I am not forgetting to take care of myself, which is good. Always good. Hunter Camp says hello. Tiny Jojo says, all right, I'm gonna go play and such. Make sure to eat up and have a good stream, y'all. All right, well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for swinging by and everything else. Fucking amazing, dude. MVP of like the year. Unworthy Wolf says, I need DM training, lol. Yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in chat. I am happy to help as best I can. Karaoke Kev says, Wawa would be your savior in Philly. Is it actually called Wawa? Is that like short for something? Because I've heard that term before, and I feel like it'd be ridiculous for someone to actually call a store Wawa. It sounds like something white people would call their grandmother as they get further and further from G-word nicknames. Random Aston says, you need a gaming laptop to stream from your cons. That way we can get you snacks. Yeah, that would be complicated to set up because it'd have to be delivered to the con house, and not everyone would be cool with that because it would be a house full of influencers, right? And so having that address given away would be tricky. Actually, at Big Bad Con, I had someone recognize me as I was getting out of the Uber somewhere, and they were super nice. I wasn't worried at all, but like I was like, oh shit, like that's a possibility. Fuck. But it was cool. They were really chill. I like that a lot. That's the nice thing about cons, is that like if someone's working the con and they happen to be a nerd, you can be there like, and they ask you like, oh, what are you up to tonight? And you're like, oh, I'm doing this convention. And they're like, oh, what's it for? And I'm like, tabletop gaming. And they're like, oh, like D&D. And I'm like, all right, yes, okay, so, and then I just start talking to them about D&D and being a D&D influencer and things like that. So much fun. Clova says, LMAO, yes. And then Deppy says, then you find out your friend is a total slob. Yeah. Pluto says, yep, we can we can check each other's grocery choices. Yes, love it. Drakabane says, my little post didn't go through. Oh, I'm sorry. Frostborn says, chicken chaser. I do remember that. Fenrir Stark says, forgetting food but having alcohol, the story of my early 20s. Yeah, I'm in my mid-20s, but holy shit am I clinging to them. Drakabane says, probably too long. Frostborn says, I think kill a kid or your sister. Your sister! I forgot you have like a sibling in that game. Holy shit. Karaoke Kev said there's a new Fable that was announced. Really? They're remaking it? Oh shit. A remake would be sick. Fenrir says you were supposed to walk up to the gate wearing stripes with plaid. That's a good joke. I like that. BH4302, hello, welcome, good evening. So far so good. We've winded down. I was answering a fuck ton of questions about like D&D and whatnot, but now we're just vibing and munching and winding down. I don't know. I might unstream when I feel like it. I was only supposed to go till 7, but I think I'm making it so it's like at least 7. Omnicron Sam, thank you for the heart on TikTok. And then Swarty says, you're a real one, never forget that. Alejandro says, do you have any advice for new DMs? Yeah, this entire stream has been advice for new DMs, but my biggest one is don't stress about the rules. If you forget a rule, just ask your players. They will know it. Someone also said that they have a designated rules lawyer in their game, so like one person every session looks up rules that need to be looked up during combat, so that way the DM isn't wasting time doing it and stopping the entirety of combat for it. That was a really good idea. Absolutely, I'm gonna steal that. Palpatine's Fist says, I never opened it. I don't think I'll get back to Fable anytime soon. Oh. It's just called Wawa? Oh, weird. I don't know if I like that. Seth said Wawa is a Philly area Sheets equivalent. I don't know what Sheets is either. We don't have any of that up here. Unworthy Wolf says, do you have a Discord channel yet so I can message questions over there as they arise? When it comes to combat, do you prefer to use a map so players can see where they are, or just do it by telling them? So, I do not have a Discord yet. The main reason for that, I was talking about this earlier, I just don't have the time to moderate it at the moment, and I would want it to be like a space that has a purpose that isn't already covered by something else. So if you guys want to ask me questions, you can DM me. It'll be like a week until I get to it though, because I get fuck tons of DMs. Or you can wait till these streams and ask them, because I will have these streams 3 times a week. So I'm available a lot more nowadays to help you guys out, because that's my goal, that's my plan. As far as maps go, when it comes to combat, do you prefer to use a map so the players can see where they are, or just do it from telling them? I prefer to use a map. I don't like just doing it by telling them, because then I'll forget where they are. And so a physical map of some sort, even if it's a very simple, like drawn on a dry erase marker, or drawn on with a wet erase marker on a, battle map like that, that'd be easy. And it serves a purpose. I feel like it's better to have at least something than no map at all, unless it's a random encounter or something that wasn't supposed to be combat, and you're like, shit, I don't have a map for this. They weren't supposed to go all murder hobo on this guy. Then it's okay to do theater of the mind. If anything, that helps them recognize that they fucked up. Palpatine's Fist says, I feel like massacring an entire village is more eatable than eating 100 chicks. Oh yeah, that was the thing. I remember it now. I think the new Fable is a sequel. The trailer has CGI Richard Ayoade. Ayoade? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I know who you're talking about though. Fucking amazing guy. Great voice actor too, says Karaoke Kev. Cyborg Pirate, Parrot. The other part of a pirate. Thank you so much for subscribing with Prime, and William GN08. Thank you for following. BH says, if you could describe D&D conceptually to someone who has never played it, but maybe kind of sort of has heard about it and is interested in giving it a go. Yeah, I would tell them if they know of any like role-playing game, you know, any sort of fantasy game, Assassin's Creed or Skyrim is a really good one. I would just say it's like playing Skyrim, except you are a main character and the possibilities are endless. There's more to do. It's literally just like you have a character sheet, you have a set of abilities, but also you can approach a problem in as many infinite ways as you could in real life. And I usually say, like, you know, as an example, I'm like, oh, well, if you know, go up to a cliff in a video game, usually you have to find a bridge to get over it, right? Or in some games, they'll let you climb down into the canyon and then climb up the other end. However, in D&D, you could find a bridge, climb down the cliff, go to the other end. You could build a bridge to get over it, stretch a rope across and swing across. You could fucking cast a spell on yourself to fly. You could transform into a bird. You could just decide, fuck this cliff, I'm gonna go do something else. Literally, like, there is no wrong. Anything you could conceivably think up to do in real life, you can do in D&D, and there will be rules for it. So that's what I tell people. It's like freeform video gaming. It's a lot of fun. Kitzer says, who was your biggest influence in the D&D space and made you get into content creation? Honestly, I never got into content creation for D&D specifically. I just kind of fell into it because I happen to know a lot about it. I've been a DM on and off for maybe 10 years, and mostly off, because it's really hard to get people together to play. And I have only been doing it recently now that I have like a West Marches style campaign, which is something I'm going to make a video on here soon because more people need to know that those exist. It solves a scheduling issue, and they're becoming more popular now. But yeah, I don't know. I just happened to know a lot about D&D. I originally started as a comedy TikToker, just doing like responses to sounds. So I would listen to sounds on TikTok that were trending and, you know, little humorous trends. And I would be like, oh, I have a joke for this. I have a joke that would go with this sound. And it's funnier than anything anyone else has put out so far. Or no one else has done it yet. And so I took it upon myself to do that first. And then that transformed into me just kind of talking at the camera about things. You know, I would talk about my college experience because I was back in college at the time. I think I complained once or twice about being a science student in business classes and being like, yeah, the jokes about them just doing coloring books and shit all day is not that exaggerated, which I stand by. And then, yeah, I just kind of ended up talking about my personal experiences in a way that drifted more into D&D and gaming. Because people seeing a hot person in D&D and gaming, especially someone who's not white, is like, I can think of one other Latino off the top of my head, maybe two or three that have like a proper influence in this world, in this sphere. And so I was like, shit, the representation would be kind of nice. And so, especially because we need more DMs. And so that was my inspiration, is to help people get into it and realize it's not scary. It's not that bad. Especially as a very analytical, like type A, left brain type person, like breaking things down in a way that's easy to digest and makes you realize you don't need that much creativity to be a DM. That was my journey. And so now I'm trying to help y'all with it. So that's a very long-winded way of saying I never got into, like, I don't have any like particular D&D influencers who influenced me to do what I do now in the type of way I do now, because my content, if you guys have noticed, it's very organic and I honestly just post whatever the fuck I want. I'm more of I say that I'm like a TTRPG TikToker, but in reality, looking at the spread of stuff on my channel, I'm a personality TikToker. You guys are here for the vibes. And I just happen to really like D&D, and that's the vibe. So I don't know. No one else in the D&D space does what I do. Usually they're either cosplayers, or they're talking about very specific stories, or reading tales from the internet, or, you know, talking about homebrew items that they make, or reviewing other people's homebrew, or, you know, they do AP actual plays on Twitch and they're promoting those. No one really comes at it from the DM side very much. And if they do, then they do that and that only, and they don't do like this freeform, very genuine, very organic content that I do. Which I have opinions on content creation, but we'll have to get to that another time because I've been going on this question for a while. Palpatine's Fist says Wawa, Sheets, Quick Trip, Quick Check are all basically the same thing. Those all sound like gas stations, to be fully honest. Unworthy Wolf said, this is my first time DMing, and map design is the hardest part for me because I'm not very artistic. Oh, but I've been writing short stories since I was so little, so that part is easy, and having fun seeing other people have fun with it. Honestly, you could probably like generate a map too. I think there's some people who do maps in like, it kind of depends on what you're building. But I would just use some sort of system, a virtual one, like Dungeon Alchemist, for instance, or God, not Tabletop Simulator. Fuck, what is it called? The one that I use all the time. I talk about it nonstop. Tailspire. Tailspire, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I love you. But other people will make maps, and you can just rip them and then use them in your campaign. So if you're like, shit, I really need a castle right now, you can go find someone else's castle and paste it into your world, and then just rename it and call it good. Maybe change a couple rooms around. I also hate map making because, again, I'm not creative, but that's like a way around it, you know? And that way you can still move forward with your story and not get too mired in something that you're not good at. Because I never want that to happen. It's okay to find the easy solution to things sometimes. BH says, have you used AI like ChatGPT at all in your DM development workflow? A little bit. It's not super helpful. I found that it just comes up with like really easy tropes that aren't they're like absurdly common. And so I don't rely on it too much. I'll have it generate like character descriptions because I hate doing that over and over again, but that's about the limit of it. Pluto says, yeah, my start into TTRPGs was West Marches. I joined right before COVID. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Kipster says, I love West Marches style campaigns. Yeah, so a lot of people don't know what those are, so I'm going to make a video at some point here soon, probably before next week, talking about what they are, because my Curse of Strahd has been transformed into a West Marches campaign, and those are amazing. Kev says, my go-to explanation is locked doors. A video game says, oh, you need a key, even though there's a window right there and you have a battle axe. Now, there may be consequences to chopping down the door or breaking the window or setting the house on fire, but still the option. Yeah, that's a really good analogy, actually. I like that. Defb says, do any of your close friends family play D&D? Were you able to convert people? My sister copies literally everything I do. And so she started playing D&D and listening to Critical Role and stuff after I got into it, and I was having a lot of fun with my internet friends playing. So I don't know if that counts. She's just a copycat. Other than that, my IRL friends aren't nerds. They don't play video games or anything, so that makes it a lot harder to convert them. And then beyond that, I've made a couple friends who are like into D&D, but they're mostly guys who were into it already. Like, I didn't influence them very much. Palpatine's Fist said, oh man, I'm blanking on the name of the class that I'm currently playing. Currently calling in my head Tinkerer. Oh, you mean the Artificer? Trekbane says, you know what might be good? A stream day focus on DM sitting down and committing to working on their campaign, like body doubling, but for D&D. Maybe, because then I can show you guys what I'm doing, but I don't want to distract you. I talk a lot and fast. K Lovo says, are you actively looking for players or plan to start a new campaign, especially online? No, I'm not oh, Palpatine's Fist redeemed imposter check. Thank you. But I'm not looking for players. I play with other influencers, other TTRPG creators, mostly out of the fact that they're my friends. Nothing to do with the fact that they're influencers. I just like them. And they all know D&D. And so it's easy to get them to play in my West Marches side campaign, but I'm not looking for new players at the moment, not from the pool of general people. If I ever do start, I'll be on Start Playing, and I'll make so many announcements ahead of time, and I will, I'll find a way to make it fair for you guys to find me. But so far, no plans to do so. It would take so much time. Darkman says, cute girl likes D&D and is being really accommodating but not putting up with misogyny in a strong, healthy way. Yes, please. That's my job. That's me. Diana the Rose. Come say hi. Also, if you're on TikTok, come to Twitch. I got a lot of messages on there, and those are where I'm trying to be more careful about like following up on them. Palpatine's Fist says, I enjoy hearing recaps of D&D sessions. Yeah, it can be fun. BH says, what exactly is homebrew? So it basically means anything that's not published content from Wizards of the Coast or endorsed by Wizards of the Coast. So for instance, there's like a bunch of different classes out there right now. For instance, Artificer. If I were to make a Artificer subclass that isn't a listed subclass, and I came up with my own name for it, my own like abilities that it had, and I made like my own published, my own homebrew stuff, and put it out there, that'd be considered homebrew. So it's any sort of rule set, any part of the game that is not in a published module, that's considered homebrew. And it's not controversial, but it has to be well balanced if you're gonna do it that way. My good friend Cinderblock Sally, if you guys go follow him over on YouTube, he does homebrew reviews where he talks about, he makes sure that things are balanced and things like that for homebrew campaigns. So you have to because balance is an issue when you do things like that. Drakbane says, I could recommend another female DMD /DM/creator, but I don't want to promote. Oh, please do. Please do. I don't care. Yeah, I think one of the problems with the influencer world, especially outside of TTRPGs, but thankfully our circle is really good about this so far, or is getting better, is that people on other influencer circles tend to believe that if you like promote someone else's content, it's like bad for your content. But it's TikTok, it's YouTube, it's podcast. Who cares? Like, people are gonna listen to who they want to listen to. Preventing them from hearing that other people exist is not a problem. Like, that's so shitty. We're trying to help each other out. Like, all my friends who are content creators, I give them every piece of advice that I ever come across, and we try and use each other's resources. We try and bounce ideas off each other. We give each other shout outs all the time. And I think it's just partially because the TTRPG space on TikTok is really small, and so we all know each other really well. But it's also just like, it's wholesome, it's nice. We're all just trying to succeed and have fun. Like, sorry, this is a total off-topic tangent, but yes, please give them a shout out. Absolutely go for it, and I might even know them. Caleb says original content. Yeah, so OC. Random Aston says, I don't know if it comes from you being a DM, but you're the only streamer I've seen who keeps up with all the comments, even when you're playing games. It's kind of impressive. I try. It's because I talk fast. I'm Latina. I Am King says, isn't D&D all creativity, lol? Nah, dude. So it's creativity, but a lot of the times you can just take someone else's creativity and make it work for you. So I only run like published modules. I do expand on them a little bit and I reskin them, but that's why I say that I do like lazy DMing or collage style DMing. I just take a bunch of other people's ideas and put them into my campaign, reskin them a little bit, maybe embellish on them, maybe swap out some things for others, but that way it's a lot more low effort than coming up with stuff all on your own. And then, yeah, just kind of like, it's so much easier. And this is why I always tell people you don't have to be creative to be a DM. I'm not creative as shit. I'm so uncreative, guys. It's not great. Even when I paint minis, I like look at pictures of painted versions of that mini and then I like try and copy what they do. But everyone plagiarizes in this world, and it's honestly the best strategy. Clonaze Pangirl says, can you talk more about that Start Gaming site? Yeah, so startplaying.games. It's functionally solved the issue, and this is not a sponsor. The video I did wasn't a sponsor. I just really enjoy them and love what they do. And also Devin, the owner, is an amazing human being. It is basically a website where you can go on, you create an account in like 2 seconds, and then you can find someone to DM games for you. It doesn't have to be D&D. You don't even have to know how to play D&D. Some people run like starting, learn to play sessions. Some of them you have to pay money, anywhere between like $5 and $40, depending on how prestigious the DM is. Most of them are like on the lower end. Some of them are free. And so it's just a way to connect players with DMs. So if you're like, damn, I really want to play D&D, but I don't have any friends who do it in my local area, or like I really want to play online, but I don't know anyone who would play with me, none of my friends play. Going on to Start Playing is a really good way to basically just like sign up to play with someone who is a professional DM, someone who knows their shit. It doesn't even have to be published modules too. You can do any gaming system like Call of Cthulhu, the Power Rangers system, something powered by the apocalypse, pretty much any tabletop game is represented on there. It has a list of what tools they use. So some of them use like, Roll20, some of them use Tabletop Simulator, things that you need. Most of them use Discord. And so, yeah, and it's a way to find players if you're a DM, and it's a way to find DMs if you're a player, and actually get started like fucking doing the thing. Because scheduling issues and finding people to play with are some of the biggest problems we have in the D&D community, and Start Playing has actually fixed it. It's awesome. Vane17 and Skillyport U, Craighorn50, thank you all for following. Noggin says, I have to go for a movie night. Thanks for all the helpful tips. Thanks for stopping by. Unworthy Wolf says, I love Critical Role, just picked up on their YouTube campaign. Yeah, I'm so behind on that. Oh man. Unworthy Wolf has also just subscribed at tier 1. Thank you. I think you're my first like proper subscription of the month. Everyone else has been using Prime, so I appreciate the extra effort there. That's awesome. Palpatine's Fist says, thank you. Dracobane says, body doubling for D&D. Yeah, I could do that. I just don't, I would be so distracting. Oh, Bob says to hydrate. Thanks, Bob. Also, good to see you. Unworthy Wolf says, I'm down for a DM session for writing. The Blink back belt is homebrew, isn't it? Yeah, it's either homebrew or it's ported over from a different system, which is it counts as homebrew, but yeah, technically, yeah. Kaylova says, appreciate the stream and tips for DMing, gotta go. All right, well, have a good night. Dracobane says, really, I don't like to post without asking because a lot of people have had to put blanket bans about self-promotion and therefore also cross-promotion. Oh yeah, gotcha. It's good to ask, but that's like a red flag. Jackbane says, but if you haven't heard of her, Ginny D. She was originally a cosplay creator, but also got really into giving D&D role-playing stuff, both for players and DMs. I love that. So I actually met Ginny D briefly at Gen Con. I was slightly drunk and I definitely interrupted a conversation. So I was with some friends and one of my friends knew who she was and I had no idea. And so, because I will admit, I think she's on the music side of like D&D YouTube and whatnot, and I don't do long form content. I don't even watch YouTube anymore, to be fully honest. I don't have the attention span for it. But I'm a TikToker, she's a YouTuber, and someone knew who she was, who I was with, and was like, oh my god, that's Ginny D. Like, I really want to say hi, but I don't know how to do it. So I was like, oh, okay. And then being the overconfident, tipsy TikToker that I was like, I just walked up, and I think I might have interrupted a conversation, and I feel really bad about it. Ginny, if you're watching, I did not mean to do that. But she was super nice. I was like, hey, I'm Diana. I'm Diana with the Rose. Good to meet you. These are my friends. And then I waited for their introductions to be done, and then one of them started a conversation, and then I took my opportunity to leave, because again, it's really hard when I don't know who she is to talk to her. So I know now who she is. And I know that she seems really nice. I don't think she follows me back on TikTok, but I follow her on TikTok. But she seems to like have really solid, like really good fucking content, production value, dude. Like wild. Trackman says she might be most famous for being Laura Bailey's Jester duplicate. Oh, okay. She wrote and performed a bunch of Jester cosplay music and stuff. Got it. I'm King says, I would love to play one of your campaigns for my first ever D&D game other than Baldur's Gate. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have it open, but if I ever do. Well, Upstairs Case says, just got back from running my game tonight through some mercenaries at my party that actually use tactics and don't mind finishing a down player. Ooh, yeah, making the stakes real is, like, as long as you're not overtly cruel about it. Sometimes, depending on the theme of the campaign, if it's like a more serious, more realistic campaign, that can be fun. For you. Not so much for them, but it'll get their blood pumping and make them realize that it's things are getting serious. Unworthy Wolf says, are you going to TwitchCon? No, everyone keeps asking me that. I don't have that many followers on Twitch. I have a deal with Twitch, but I don't think that's I don't think that's a thing. I don't think I'm gonna go because it's in October, right? I can't take the days off that soon. Maybe next year. Truckman says, these days Ginny does essentially professional role-playing advice. Oh, solid. So she does, okay, perfect. Critical Role Campaign 2, if you know, you know. I haven't, I think I saw it a little. That is what I recommend to people to watch if they're trying to get into D&D. Unworthy Wolf says, you don't need a bunch of followers for TwitchCon, LOL, and yeah, it's in 2 weeks. Oh yeah, there's no way. If Twitch didn't invite me and they aren't paying for me to go, I'm not gonna be able to swing it this year just due to other cons that are actually based around roleplay, like TTRPGs. So I gotta prioritize like Gen Con, Big Bad Con, and PAX Unplugged, but that Crown King says it is now October. Yeah, dude, it came so quick. Vayan says, I feel kind of bad killing my players. I still do it, but I just have a little guilt cutting their story short. Yeah, I wouldn't do it a lot, but it is part of the game. Like, losing is a mechanic, and it's a very real threat that is ever present, and they need to be aware of that. Yeah, it sucks. It really does suck. And checking in with your players afterwards to see how they feel about the experience I would recommend it. If they're one of those players who's like desperately attached to a character that they have like 14 pages of backstory on, and they're like, this is gonna ruin my life if this character dies. Don't give them plot armor, but like just consider I don't know. I'm not saying give everyone special treatment, but just be careful about hurting your actual players' feelings when you're playing games like this, because it is role playing and people get really into it. Unworthy Wolf says, I'm still in campaign 1, so no spoilers. Oh, dude, you should get to campaign 2. It's really good. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite. It's the one I rewatch. The Crowned King says, what the fuck? There's TTRPG cons? Oh my god, yeah, dude. Gen Con is in Indy in August. I just got back from Big Bad Con, which is way smaller. It's more of like an industry event focused on POC creators, which is last weekend. And then PAX Unplugged is in December, 1st through 3rd. Hunter Cam wants me to hydrate. Thank you. I've been waving this thing around for a while. Kipster J says, losing is the best part of a campaign in my opinion. If you do it right, it's the best. Yeah, so there are mechanics, homebrew mechanics for having players do a last breath or like a self-sacrifice way of killing, being killed. And so that's possible to implement. So I would just take a look at making it still a positive event and thinking about how their character lives on afterwards. So for instance, in my campaign, we had a character death because we kicked a player out of the campaign. Now, the dead character is gonna come back at some point. It is Curse of Strahd. It's gonna like reappear. In fact, it already has. Like his grave showed up in the back of the house mysteriously that the players are residing in, and they came out and they were like, holy shit, like how did this get here? And there's other ways that it's gonna show up just as like a plot device, you know, so that way the character kind of lives on slightly in a mysterious sort of way. I can't spoil too much because people I know who are in that campaign my watch list. Drakabane says, I had a thing where a dead character could come back the next day with no idea how or why, just knowing that there was something that I could have to repay someday. So yeah, so the reborn concept is pretty cool. Hunacam says, please stop looking into the camera, making me nervous. The Aladial says, finally able to watch you on Twitch. Yeah, welcome. Frostborn says, then tell them, don't make choices that earn, to tell them not to make choices that earn a Darwin Award. God, the Darwin Award, do y'all remember that? Do they still do those? Frostborn says plot armor is for 5 HP NPCs. Yeah, I wouldn't give them plot armor. Unless it's that sort of campaign, you give them that expectation and they're just there to have fun and they don't care about the stakes. It's not realistic. Then if you guys all agree to that ahead of time, then sure. I personally probably wouldn't run that though. Unworthy Wolf says, I was gonna say you can eat that right. Alright, fine. It just takes so long to chew. I'm so used to talking for like 3 hours straight on these streams without breaks. Isaac the Cook, Int Artisan, General BC99, and Sleepy Frog. Such a cute name. It's Sleepy with an I. That's adorable. Thank you for following. Int Artisan. Goodness, I swear to God, I gotta end this soon. I'm losing it. Says, any advice for encouraging my players to roleplay more, considering giving them +1s to a stat of their choice for every PC they bond with. They will abuse the shit out of that. I really don't recommend that. I would say have inspiration as your key modifier, but your key incentive to roleplay, but use modified inspiration. When I was at Big Bad Con, I saw this cute little small business. Let me see if I still have their card. Yeah, it's called Quests and Chaos. I saw their table. They had set up this little thing where they had decks full of alternative inspiration. So for levels 1 through 4, there was a deck. Through levels 5 through 7 or whatever, every like tier basically had its own little deck. And when they did something that equated to getting inspiration, you would deal out a random card from the deck and give it to them. And it gave them some sort of ability. Like for instance, you get sneak attack for 1 attack, or you can or something like that, some minute ability that they can pull out at any time and use, and then expend it, and then you get the card back from them when they cast it. So it's like a one-time use thing. I highly recommend that. I wanted to pick one up, but I didn't have the money for that and this really cute set of petrified dice that I wanted at the time, and of course, being the dice goblin that I am, I went with the dice. Where is it? Fuck. I had it. It was here. Alright, well, I'll deal with that later. And so, yeah. I would use inspiration as opposed to like giving people +1s to their stats, because like that can be a little OP, and they're gonna use it, and then they're gonna complain about, oh well, what counts as a bond. I would just give them inspiration for good role playing and see where that goes. And someone else pointed out that inspiration dice are a thing. I like that also. That's honestly what I use, where your dice mimic bardic inspiration as opposed to just giving a flat advantage. And it doesn't stack with bardic inspiration, so. Defy says, question about character deaths. Do I just rip up my character sheet if they die? I mean, you don't need it anymore, but I would keep it for reference, so you're like, so you know that you're not making the same character over and over again, basically. And in case you want to bring it back for a one-shot or something, and do like maybe a prequel. I don't know. That Crown King says, one thing I stole was a TikTok video I showed, but when my character dies, I give them basically a legendary action that can't be like I heal myself, but make a big act to help their team. Yeah, so like a dying act of heroism is a pretty fun little mechanic, as long as you have to work with the player. If they're like, oh, I successfully divine and intervene. Nah, you can't do that. That doesn't count. Drakabane says inspiration dice are great reward. Yep. That Crown King says modified inspiration is amazing. Dude, I fucking hate normal inspiration in D&D. I will take any suggestions, any and all of them, to not do normal inspiration. Fully honestly. Drakabane says pretty much what Baldur's Gate does when you do things that characters like. Yeah. So having inspiration that stacks is doable. Journal BC99 has also subscribed with Prime. Thank you so much. I also have just realized that this soda that Tiny Toe Joe sent me, amazing human being. I don't think they're hanging out anymore. Is Dr. Pepper. I fully forgot that I ordered that. I thought I put, so when you set up Treat Stream, you set up like a series of your usual orders from restaurants around you. I think mine are like Panda Express, Burger King, sushi, a couple other things. There's a really low limit on it though, and food is really expensive in my town, so it's not much. But you have to like set up your order ahead of time, and then like specifically what's on them, and then someone else just presses the button and is like, okay, order this for them. So I set these up forever ago, and I totally forgot like what I included, but I'm happy with it. This is like exactly what I would have ordered if I had had the time to do it now. Anyway, thank you for the subscription, Busey. In Artisan says, that's a good idea. They also solved the problem of them bonding one per person and then having no more reason to roleplay. Exactly, yeah. Plus the randomness could work well in the setting. Heavily modified Spelljammer. Oh, because the box set for 5e was pretty shit. See, yeah, I haven't heard anything about Spelljammer at all. People seem pretty lukewarm towards it, I guess, which is unfortunate. Bob 3K says, I let my players give inspiration to each other for good RP. That is another thing. So having players vote at the end of a campaign before the next session, or the end of a session before the next session on who did the best role-playing or support or anything like that. Like having them vote with each other on who gets RP at the start of the next session is a lot of fun. I recommend that a ton. Awesome J0522, thank you for following. Chakabane says, the perpetual suggestion of fast food has finally penetrated my hyperfocus. It's a lot of syllables. I'm gonna go get food. I will happily be back before, hopefully be back before stream ends. All right, well, have a good time. I hope you eat. I hope you eat. The Crowned King says, in my last campaign, I had inspiration tarot cards that they could earn that would do different things or have long-standing buffs, multiple sessions. That's kind of cool. I would say long-standing buffs might be a little OP, but I don't know. I also have a hard time regulating myself on things like that. Like when it comes to inspiration, I need to have rules for when it's given. I can't come up with that on my own. I'm not good at that sort of thing. I'm a very like by the book type person, and when something is like, oh, just make it up, I can't do that. That's not my MO. Which is why I do like collage style DMing and world building and stuff like that. It's lazy. Random Aston says Monster Sushi Roll. That's the one, dude. It has fucking soft shell crab in it. It's really good. Unworthy Wolf says, I have a charlatan halfling warlock in my campaign, and he's such a sneaky bastard that throws everything off, and I love it. Yeah, just be careful. You know, as long as the player isn't dominating conversation too much. I love the little chaotic little guys. Just a little guy. Mayo, hi! Says, did Alec and Chris already end streams? I don't think they're streaming today. I think they're still recovering from Big Bad Con because they're fucking weak. And Chris is also having other Chris visit right now. I don't think they streamed at all today. Unless they're just streaming after me, but I didn't notice. That Crown King said long-standing buffs was like they'd last X sessions where the X got bigger as they leveled. Oh, okay, gotcha. That's a cool idea. Pluto says, I'm much more careful with giving items / bonuses now. I let players get to OP in one of my early campaigns, lol. Yeah, so there's for those who aren't aware, like a recommended table in the DMG saying how many magic items you should give out per tier of play. Stick to it. For the love of God, you will regret it if you don't. Intartisan says, lazy DMing is the way to go. No better way to avoid burnout. Really? Yeah. I do lazy DMing. I do lazy content creation, if we're being fully honest. So Mayo says, makes complete and utter sense. Yeah. We got like no sleep the whole weekend, dude. There was one night where I was up till like 5 in the morning just talking with people and playing the Red Dragon Inn, but as like a real drinking game, which I so fucking recommend, by the way. So much fun. But yeah. Marscurial says, I found your page a few days ago and didn't know you played games. I do! So I play I play Baldur's Gate 3 on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 on Mondays, and then, well, Pacific time. 6 o'clock Pacific on Mondays, and then 5:30 Pacific on Wednesdays. Now, before those streams, I do also do an hour and a half to 2 hours of just this, where I just talk with people and hang out and give D&D advice, which has been massively popular so far. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for swinging by. Definitely going to wrap up in the next couple minutes, though, so probably won't take any more questions outside of what's here. But I'm doing it again tomorrow, so I'm going to start at 4:30? No. Yeah, 4 o'clock. So I'll have an hour and a half of talking with you guys, just chatting before we start Baldur's Girlies at 5:30, which is where me, Madaloon, and Kiki Do Stuff all play the barbified version of Baldur's Gate. It's a lot of fun. We call every single NPC, every single companion Ken. Let's see. Pluto says, I like doing thematic items now. They get one item that grows with them. Lets me play with stuff. I wish D&D had better rules for that. Like the whole, oh god, kind of like the... Oh, what are they called from Critical Role? The items that got more powerful after a certain point, whatever those are called. That's a cool idea. One that grows with the character after they complete character quests or like personal quests is a good idea. I don't do items that way though. I do like blessings. So for instance, if the cleric in my campaign does quests for their god and like completes objectives that lines up with their god's objectives and like motivations and things like that, they gain boons or modified permanent versions of existing spells, things like that. DefB says, what's lazy DMing? Basically just any sort of DMing that doesn't involve full on, like, you know, coming up with everything on your own. You know, I don't really do homebrew stuff, but I will reskin other things and make them look like different stuff, if that makes sense. So like I was talking earlier about a reskinned ooze that is just coagulated blood and gore instead of being like a black pudding or whatever. It's got the same stat blocks, it just looks different for added effect. Things like, I don't know, I took a flying horror and reskinned it as the big boss of Death House. I took Death House and reskinned it so that it had an entirely different backstory or an expanded backstory and all the characters were renamed. It's essentially making things feel homebrew by just taking some little bits and pieces from different sources, taking inspiration from other sources and converting it into your game in order to beef up an existing module. And then, yeah, like I said, make it feel homebrew. Vestige, that's the word. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. So, I don't know. I also call it like the cobblestone method or the collage method of DMing. It's totally just my own... I'm sure people have done it before, but it's just like a fancy term for shortcut DMing that doesn't require creativity or like an insane imagination or like fuck tons of work. I'm just trying to be out here making it easy on people and sharing my ways of doing that. Mayo says, what rules did you use? My group used every 3 alcohol content is a shot, and every 4 fortitude loss is 1. Okay, so we didn't do fortitude loss. We just did, you take a sip of a non-shot beverage after every time someone tells you to take a drink. I feel like it already got us really fucked up. We only could play 5 rounds before I was like, I need to go to bed. So that like was... I don't recommend. We also used White Claw as a mixer for like pink lemonade vodka or strawberry lemonade vodka. So like we didn't do it perfect, and we won't be doing that next time. But like it was a lot. The Aladial says Pacific is too late for me. Oh, I'm sorry. I do also have the VODs up though. So if you want to scrub through those and gain the info that way, that might help you out a lot. I guess I will put them up on YouTube if you guys want me to. Otherwise, they'll disappear in 2 weeks. So that should be plenty of time. I just don't want to spam my YouTube is all. Like, it's just mostly for gameplay content. So, I don't know. I guess there's no downside. Awesome J0522, thank you for following. And Nathan966, welcome back, Nathan. Good to see you. Gifted a tier 1 sub to Reveal. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Jago Burr also followed. Hello, hello. Tank says, hi, I follow you and just wanted to ask what's the best way to find a D&D group to play with. If you're looking for in-person games, I recommend going to your friendly local game shop and checking out if they have Adventurers League. That way you can drop into a tiered session, basically a one-shot. It's very low commitment. If you find people you don't like, you just don't have to play at their table again in the future. And if you find people you really, really like, you can make friends with them and then potentially form a campaign outside of that. You can also look for Discord groups that correspond to your town, and then if you really want to, you can look on Reddit and things like that, but I don't really recommend it. Instead, if you're going to go the virtual route, startplaying.games will have everything you need. You essentially just sign up to play at some virtual professional DM's table, and there are some professionals out there, you guys. Holy shit. There are people with multiple millions of followers on TikTok who are massive D&D influencers who are running games on Start Playing. It's like the place to be. So that would be my recommendation. I hope that helps. Unworthy Wolf says, I've been debating giving the Paladin the Sunblade. I'm not sure that is too OP for this early in the campaign. Depends on how early it is. Isaac the Cook says, I never played D&D and I've never been invited to. Always been interested. It's fun to listen to your stories. Yeah, play Baldur's Gate 3 if you can. That's a really good way of kind of getting the same feel of it. And that way, if you ever get invited to a campaign, you'll have a vague idea of how the rules work. Like passively. Via osmosis, not homogeneity. That Crown King says, me and another player stole the enchantments from Pathfinder. Yeah, that's the shit I'm talking about, is stealing stuff. Plagiarizing. Every good DM plagiarizes. Sleepy Frog says, reskin Element Firebolt is so simple but so good. Oh, that's a good idea. if my player came up and was like, can I have a different firebolt? I would let that happen, 100%. I should do a video on that. That's a good idea. Just taking like elements and swapping them out. Mayo says, how was the Alex steak? We didn't do it. We didn't cook at all in that Airbnb. We didn't even have food in that Airbnb. However, Tiny Tojo redeemed Roll the Potion D20 for 2,000 channel points. For those who aren't aware, the Potion D20 was a lovely gift from Dragon's Nest Delivery, a D&D based subscription box. This is not sponsored. They did not pay me to say this. They just gave me this really fucking cool little potion that has a D20 in it and like a bunch of sparkly liquid. And if you redeem 2,000 channel points, you get to see what this roll will say of your next endeavor. It's a 1, Joe. Good. Oh, Jesus. This dice is glow in the dark too. I should really charge that, but there you go. No refunds. Mayo says, my group is so full of heavyweights that can handle a lot to drink, so we had to go strong room home. That's fair. Tipsy Gamin says, what if you started a YouTube channel for this D&D advice? I thought about it. My TikTok fulfills that purpose, and most of the advice I have is in short sound bits anyway, so it makes more sense to do it in short form content as opposed to long form. I'm not cut out for like the editing that YouTube would require and whatnot, but I might take this VOD and post it on YouTube so people can scrub through it if they like. But it's mostly so people can come in and ask questions, kind of like office hours as well, is the only reason I do it on Twitch. And then TikTok will be, yeah, I've got tons of ideas written down. It's all coming in bits and pieces as I feel like it. That Crown King says, also in-person games use the Meetup app. It's a site for all kinds of events in your area. Meetup. Oh, I've never heard of it. Unworthy Wolf says, Matt Mercer? I have no idea. I don't know what that's referring to. Unworthy Wolf says, it's super early, level 4 for the Paladin. That would be pretty early. Oh, Tank. Thank you for the gift over on TikTok. I appreciate that. Koala says, are you streaming on Twitch? I am. If you hop over to Diane of the Rose on Twitch, you'll be able to actually see more things like the chat that I'm talking to and whatnot. So hop over there. Taito says, get wrecked. I was rolling to go for a drive to get food. Looks like I have to crash. Wait, no. Wait, please. Maybe don't do that. Yeah, I wouldn't do a sun sword for level 4. If it's in Curse of Strahd, put it somewhere further away on the map. If you, I guess you've already done your... So there's a recommendation to have the Sun Sword hilt be found, but it doesn't activate after a certain point. So I would do that instead. So like he finds it, but he needs to do something to make it work for him. Or her. Or them. The Crown King says it's an easy one too, to switch up elements or cantrips. It's good, especially if they're trying to be themed. I love a good theme. I will do anything I can to make my players like follow a theme and help them do that. They say, I have a player in my game being an Archfey Warlock of the Prince of Frost, so we changed Eldritch Blast to cold damage. Ooh, I like that. Digger says, hasn't rolled anything but a 1. It did. It rolled a 16, I think, for Batty earlier today. That Crown King says, Meetup is great. That's how I got into D&D when I moved to Portland. Oh, solid. Yeah. I'll have to look into it then. That sounds awesome. Because we need more ways to have people meet up, especially if people don't have the resources to switch to virtual. Frost Princess is the DM of the campaign that spun off into the animated series Vox Machina. Yes. Amazing person. Super nice guy. Jay Garen Gaming, thank you for the follow. Same with Storm Reflux. Thanks for hopping over. Mayo says, most of the crew can handle downing a whole bottle of hard liquor before we start getting messy, and even then it takes a bit more to get us straight up drunk. Goodness. Unworthy Wolf says, what level do you think they should be allowed to use it in? Let's find out. So, a lot of my opinions I get from the internet, as I'm a sheep. So, if we look at the Sun Sword, or the Sun Blade, it's a... legendary? Is it? Someone says to hydrate. Alright, hold on. It's a major tier, says Great Willow. Yeah, let me see. Okay. So it's sentient. So yeah, that's really... Oh no, this is modified. I don't have D&D Beyond, you guys. Give me a break. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm so tired. It's just going to be a bunch of dead air. Ah, here we go. The Sun Sword. Longsword, legendary, requires attunement. It is sentient. It's not modified. Toad Sage, welcome. They say, not new to D&D, but new to the community. Name's Toad. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're introducing yourself. The one you were looking at is just rare. Oh, okay. So not like the Curse of Strahd Sunsword then. Let me do Sun Blade. Rare. Requires attunement. So rare weapons are major tier. There is something in Curse. So it's a little early. I wouldn't give them any rare weapons until at least tier 2. So like maybe closer to 7th level. 5 to 7, and make it naturally appear somewhere along the lines. You don't have to be super specific about it, but definitely not at level 4 is what I would recommend. Thank you, Aladile. That Crown King says you can also make it so the Sunblade slowly becomes the full version as they level or pass character feats. Yeah. Bob's 3K is also heading off to bed. And then Toad Sage says, fun question, when would you want to introduce a false Hydra into a campaign? So here's the thing, the false Hydra has gone so viral at this point that I don't think I could pull it off because all of my players would metagame, they would know what it is. Unless I did like a really wild, like, so I've had it so that people will like, oh God, and I saw this recommendation online somewhere. People will play the false Hydra in their campaigns so that the adventurers enter a town, they feel like they're going around doing normal business, and then someone or something happens so that they realize that there was someone else in their campaign, in their party the entire time, but they died due to the false Hydra's attack and disappeared from their memory. But that reveal would be really hard to pull off. Yeah, I agree with what the Crown King is saying. That Crown King, you'd have to reflavor / reskin one so heavily for the false Hydra. And yeah, at that point the mechanic is so overdone that I don't think I could get away with it. Even I couldn't get away with it, I guess I should say. Speaking of getting away with things, I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I almost never know how to end these streams when I'm not actually doing games. So I guess I will just slowly fade into the background of my offline stream and just kind of like mute my mic a little bit, let you guys fade into the music, pretend I'm not here.